The Z to Z Podcast.
Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z Podcast, the home for Xbox Achievement Hunters and Gamerscore junkies. I'm your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming and in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining Gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. It's about achievements. We'll unlock it. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 116. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter, at Z2Z, Z-E-D-T-O-Z-E-D, over at our forums, forum.z2z.com, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. So, despite what you may have heard, Randy and I have made up, and we are together on the show again. Hooray!
Yay!
We can be friends.
Yay!
All right, that might have been blown out of proportion, but Randy's here. How you doing, Randy?
Well, it's a mixed day today.
Mixed day. Snow day!
It's a snow day, and I mean, as I think I said before, I love snow days because I never had one. So I got another snow day today.
How do you not have? Is that why you never had one?
That's why. Yeah, that's exactly why. So super excited! I got a snow day today. It wasn't pre-planned, so I woke up this morning and there's like a ton of snow. So then I was gonna go in, but then my boss texted me and said, "No, we're just gonna call it off. Snow day. Don't bother coming in."
That's awesome.
So yeah,
they don't take that out of your like time off or anything, right? Like that's just kind of like a new...
No, it's just a bonus day. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. And
Proulx, did you have a snow day?
I had a wind day. It was actually my first ever wind day. Well, actually, it's been pretty nuts out there. In fact, a good chunk of the surrounding area had power outages because of the wind, and it's like all day. You go outside. Like I took my dog outside to go to the bathroom, a couple dozen times, and she was so terrified of the wind that she wouldn't even go. It's like crazy out there. There's branches all over the place and everything. I had to go.
We have tornadoes, and we don't get to go home.
What?
For tornadoes.
That's not true. You go home for tornadoes. That's
no,
not
they don't
true.
want you on the roads. They keep you at work.
Oh, okay.
And you got to sit in a hallway until the tornado goes away.
But if the tornado was at 7 a.m, they would call a tornado day, right?
I don't think so. They would probably have us come in once the tornado. It wouldn't be a whole day. Wind. And I said in Discord.
You just have a tornado. Then okay, let's go to work now.
I told people in Discord I was breaking wind at work all day and no one sent me home. It was annoying. Hey-oh. What were you saying, Randy, about your snow day?
Oh, so snow day, so no work today, but no magic.
Oh.
Nobody showed up. I went
Bittersweet.
there. I went. I have no issue driving the snow. I mean, the roads were fine by the time magic rolled around. Yep, nobody showed up. I mean,
so nobody.
There were a couple of people, but not enough to
do a tournament.
So nobody showed up with a fire deck to clear out all the snow, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Get it? I don't even know if that's how magic decks work. But
well, I mean,
Red Mana is actually mountains. But...
Mountains that has a
red
fire
is mountains?
symbol. Red is mountains, but it's fire. It's got a fire symbol, and there's like dragons and fireballs and all that.
I mean, it's very offensive. It's an offensive spell deck, typically.
Well, in Pokemon,
that's half of my deck.
Red
very
is
aggressive.
fire, so...
Yeah, I've got red and blue going in mine.
Ooh, clever. Fantastic. Well, it's good to get everybody back together. We're on the show, having some fun. Let's take care of some normal business like the game mashup. If you're not familiar with the game mashup, I take two Xbox games and put them together, link them through a common word. Here's an example. It was week 13's. Here's the clue. Notch another tally on this long-running hunting series set in a pixelated version of US and Canada. This entry has you shift from low-resolution pixels, Atari-like, to better-defined 8-bit detail or the pinnacle of 32-bit graphics. The most satisfying moment is when you get your target and watch it explode into a D-resolution firework display. So that was the clue. I think people picked up on Cabela's real quick, except, there's a billion of those games. So I said U.S. and Canada. That happens to be North America, for those of you not familiar, and that is Cabela's North American Adventures of Pip. Is the full? You guys play Adventures of Pip?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
If you've never played that game, then the rest of the clue would totally stump you.
Yep.
Because that is a game where you are an individual pixel, a Pip, and then by stomping on bad guys, you upgrade into an 8-bit character, and the 8-bit character can jump really high, but can punch. And then if you jump on another guy, you become a 32-bit character. I think 32, maybe 16. I guess I don't know for sure. But he has a sword. But he's heavy, right? And so, but he's strong, so he can move stuff. And then you can de-res and hit B, and you explode yourself and get all the pixels away from you, and drop down a resolution, and that does stuff in the game. It's fun. I have that on my random to-do list this month. Adventures of Pip. I need to essentially just complete the whole game. I got to get perfect on all the levels. So we'll see if that happens. Relatively short, good game. Anyway, Cabela's North American Adventures of Pip is the game mashup. Let's do week 14. Here's the clue. The original game in this popular series created half of this genre's name. This version is a 3D departure from the classic Victorian era to the modern day. This mashup would feature spelunking in the Olympic Mountains only to stumble across a high-tech, underground Draculian base housing the Progressive Restoration Radical Group. Lead character Jason Belmont must save his girlfriend and stop the group from inciting a civil war. So good luck on that one. If you know the answer, you can send me a private message on Discord. Come visit me, discord.io/Z2Z. Or you just listen to next week's show, and I will give you the answer. So that is the game mashup, but that's not all the gaming that has happened this last week. Let's go with Randy, who had his snow day, who doesn't play video games anymore, to tell us about the gaming that he has done.
That's correct.
Surely there's something.
I've played 0 games. I don't play games anymore.
You sold all your game. Well, Life is Strange.
That's
done,
true.
So you
I played Life is Strange,
games.
sold all my games. Yeah, exactly. I don't even have any digital games. They're all gone. It's all been sold. That's not true. I have been playing some games this week. Not a ton,
games?
but I have been playing some games. So since last week, I've gotta mention this because since I've been on the show last, something very exciting happened in Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
I finished Criminal Mastermind 2.
Is that the
which
two-man
is
no
for
hurt?
the two-person Doomsday Heist run with no deaths. Finished it last week. It was amazing.
That's awesome. I bet that felt pretty good.
Yeah, it felt fantastic, and it made me feel really good about finishing the 3- and 4-person runs because they're going to be a breeze. We actually started that tonight with Fug, and we've been going pretty smooth so far. So we're going to try and make some more progress on that tomorrow and the next day.
Is it really going to be? I mean, because now there's like another person to let you down.
No, it's way 2 people
Makes life easier?
is way harder. Yeah,
Do the bad guys scale up?
No.
Does like the difficulty scale at all?
Nothing changes. It's you just do everything with 2 less people. Because even in worst case scenario, those 3rd and 4th people can just hide somewhere and not die. And in almost every situation, they're going to be able to do that.
Right.
In a totally safe space where they're not going to be killed. And then in situations where an extra person makes your life way easier, then you have an extra person to bring in.
Sure.
So, yeah, I've been going... I mean, we haven't done too much yet, because we only played for... I mean, we're actually playing for about an hour, and then the other half hour or so was just...
Trying to matchmake?
not matchmake, but loading and getting Fug up to speed on what to do and new equipment and all that. Because we since our first run, we've discovered some new equipment, some new strategies. So I spent way too much money on buying a stupid weapon upgrading trailer. Not worth it.
And that's in-game money, right?
In-game money.
You're not
no
buying
real
shark
money.
cards.
No, because by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to have like $5 million extra dollars on top of the $15 million I've already spent on minuscule upgrades, trying to make it just a little bit easier. So, yeah, money is not really an issue, or not going to be. I still need some more.
Yeah.
But by the time I'm done playing this heist 2 more times and getting 2 more around, because you get a big money bonus for Criminal Mastermind 3 and 4 as well. Like 2, 3, and 4. There's like you get like $1 million or something for getting that.
Is the way you're going about it how you would recommend doing it, or would you rather start with 4?
It depends.
If you can coordinate that.
It's tough to say, because I know me and my friend who
did the
2-person one. We've done a lot of games together, and we kind of know what each other person does well, and we communicate. We just play a lot of games together, so we know
there's
how
some
to
chemistry
play games
there
together. Yeah, and so by doing that, it was a bit harder on us doing it the first time by ourselves, but at the same time, we also now completely mastered that entire heist. So we know exactly how to do everything. There's only one mission in that entire heist that I don't feel confident that we could do first try. And even so, it's doable. It's just, that's one where there could potentially be some issues, just because we never came up with a method of a foolproof method of not dying on that mission. But with a third person, it's going to be even easier. So
great.
Yeah.
Hey, so of the teammate there is who's the Michael Jordan? Who's the Scottie Pippen? You got one guy that's better than the other?
Sports guys.
Yeah. Are you going to say you're better than your buddy, or?
I mean, I'm the best driver.
Oh, okay, great.
I mean, there's some videos on my TA page you guys should check out. It shows off my driving skills.
You should make a YouTube channel of your driving. People smash that like button.
Which should also include him crashing into power substations and lakes and rivers.
Did you see the sewage treatment incident video, Proulx?
No.
That's the most recent one. It's a winner. Yeah. Check it out on my TA page when you get a chance.
I will definitely check it out.
It's a winner. But so I guess this is kind of our inside joke of our GTA heist crew is I'm always a driver, and I don't drive on the roads very often
or at all.
Yeah, I crash a lot. I flip the car a lot, but I always get there first, because at one point somebody started taking another car and not driving in my car, and I would still beat them there. Doesn't look like I would beat them there, but I did. So I'm the driver.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Exactly.
There are no roads in my eyes. No roads.
What else you been up to?
So I was playing Killer Instinct a little bit. Man, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this done in like a week, and then that's it. Killer Instinct complete. Man, these 200 fight challenges on all the characters. What a grind. What a grind. It's brutal.
You want to go back to 2000?
You can turbo them, right? Though.
No, that's the matches played. These are the fight challenges. So these are things you actually have to do.
Oh, the fight challenges. Okay.
Yeah, like do a certain number of combo breakers, do a certain number of counter breakers. I mean, you don't have to do all of them, but those are what it ends up being, just as the most effective way to get challenges. It is a real grind. I mean, it's probably taking me, after doing everything else for the characters, probably 4 to 5 hours extra a character.
Gross.
Maybe not that. I don't know.
I have one for it's my highest ratio random to-do list achievement. I have to get Sadira's 175 whatever challenges this month.
150?
150.
Yeah, it's totally doable. I mean, if you want to just sit down and do one character, it's not so bad, but it's when that's all you have left in the game.
Yeah.
And you've already played like 300 survival matches, because survival matches are pretty good for working on challenges and then working toward the survival matches played challenge at the same time. But I cannot, it is really, really difficult for me to play any more survival matches because I've played so many. So yeah, it's slow going there, but I'm getting there. I mean, I've got, 15 left. That's a lot.
That sounds terrible.
That's a lot left. So still a lot of hours. No, they're not going to take, I don't know. It just feels like 5 hours because it's so slow. So I've been working on Killer Instinct, and I started Turok today.
Oh, the remaster.
I do want to talk to you about this because I played this very early on in my 64 career, and while I recognize now that it wasn't the bestest game of all time, it was simple
it's fun. It's really fun. Like I've never played Turok before, so I have no nostalgia glasses for Turok. Super fun. Like this is like the most fun I've had playing a shooter in like 3 years. And I was just like, because my wife was home today too. And I was just like saying to her, I was sitting on the couch and like they should make more games like this. It's like you just go around, you run super fast, you got a bunch of big guns, you just shoot dinosaurs and aliens.
Yep.
That's fantastic game. Super fun. Totally.
I'm excited.
It's a great port too. No issues so far. All the achievements are obtainable. Somebody completed it today. Really, really good. And so I haven't seen the N64 version, but I suspect the graphics have been improved substantially. Yes. I know the draw distance has been it's been like almost removed. Like you can see way further than you. I know because I know they use the fog to stop it from lagging on the N64.
Yes.
So the fog is like way out now. Like it's not.
I imagine that both the graphics and the controls have been improved tremendously because going back and playing those things now, it's pretty.
I know the controls were weird because you moved around with the C buttons and then you aimed with the stick, right? And then fired with Z.
Yep, Z was a trigger.
Buttons. Yep. Mm-hmm. God, those are awful.
Yeah.
And so that's a little weird, but
so do they dual stick it?
Is that though? Yeah, they dual stick it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited. I kind of want to just buy it. It's like $20 now, right?
Yes, isn't it? I'd say it's totally worth it. I mean,
especially because I was in like middle school when it came out. I played so much of it that year, and it was so much fun. I'm kind of jealous.
And
I should pick it up.
Like it's really well done. I mean, there is a whole history of this. Is another game that's been rescued from IP limbo. So Night Dive acquired the rights to it. Somewhere along the way, picked up the source code. I think because the source code was lost. Then somebody found a computer that was in a warehouse somewhere that ended up in that warehouse when a claim went bankrupt, and then sold it. And somewhere between there and there, I assume Night Dive got the source code that was on it for Turok, and I was able to.
That's how this thing came to be.
Yeah. So it's kind of got a whole story behind it. Well, I know there's kind of been some criticism of the price, but it's not really like it is just a port, but at the same time, it's also like there's a whole legal battle. I mean, not battle, but like legal mess that had to go on to get this to where it is. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, I'll go more into. I'm on Reviews Ed this week. Damien's out. And we're going to talk about Turok, so I'll go more in depth on the gameplay of Turok later
in the show. Great,
as I've said, really good so far. I mean, I'm going to put more time in this weekend and get more feel for it. But having come from never playing Turok before, holds up super well, especially with obviously modern controls.
I think it was 96 or 97 that it came out, and I had I inherited my N64 from my older brother, who came back from the military that year, and I had the Turok strategy guide. Man, it's all sorts of nostalgia.
64 strategy guide.
Yeah, it's good. I'm really itching to play it, and
yeah, it's super good.
I think I will at some point. I really hope so.
And what was I going to say now? One more thing about it. Oh yeah, Turok was the first third-party game released for the N64. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I want to just point this out because this is, for some reason, has always stuck in my memory. When you read through I think it was Prima Games or whatever it was at the time that wrote the guide, and I was reading through the book in school, waiting to get home to play the game. And there's a section where you come upon this column of water, and you can swim up the column of water or whatever. And in the book they say this, column of water is one of the most unrealistic things you're going to come across in this super realistic Turok dinosaur hunter game. And I've always remembered that quote as being so ridiculous. But
nothing about Turok is realistic.
Nothing. There's not one thing.
Runs at like sprinter speed at all times, effortlessly. Yeah. Carries around like 18 guns.
Yep.
And shoots dinosaurs and aliens.
Yep. There's nothing realistic. It's so funny. It's always
realistic about this game.
Anyways.
And that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
And that'll be it for what I've been playing this week for video games. I played Magic, of course, but that's it. Not a lot of achievements.
Are you gonna play like the digital Magic games at all, or does that just not do anything for you?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, so the problem is I play Standard, and Standard is only the last 2 years worth of 2 years ish. It cycles every year, I think, of cards that have of new sets that have come out. So if I play like Magic 2013 or 2012 or whatever, that's like way back. It's fine. The game is still the same, but I'm going to have to relearn all these cards because I don't have any of them, which is fine. I don't know. I'd rather play Magic against people in the current format, but I don't know. We'll see.
Nice. What about you, Proulx? What are you up to?
So, Fream, I have a win of the week that I want to bring up. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's realized. It's probably gone under most people's radar, but today I've hit a milestone of 2 years of an achievement streak.
Really? Rocker Dude he posted a comment saying he wanted to congratulate you. He must have just, I don't know how he found out about it. Yeah, but
it's one of those things that you've got a bunch of friends, it just slips under the radar, and I was really proud of it. So
especially because it only comes up in your feed once, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I wanted to highlight it. This is, how many times does, a super milestone, a significant milestone like that come out on the day that we record? Not very often. So it just worked out really well, and I had a comment or two from other people on my feed, so I thought, this is
How many achievements did you unlock today?
That's a good question. It was quite a few because I played a lot of, let me see, I'll tell you right now.
Honestly, the fact that it was a snow day and you got to be home unlocking achievements, that's what made it worse.
It looks to be about 20 to 25 achievements I got today.
That's how many I unlocked in all of February. Fun fact. I think my ratio for February was 5.8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
they were all from Killer Instinct.
Yeah, that's funny.
If you're not familiar with this particular glitch, it for some reason it doesn't realize your 2-year streak is you unlock it and that's it. But when it comes to the day, every achievement you unlock, it just throws up another message, doesn't it?
Over and over and over again. Yeah. So I didn't intentionally do it, but I was kind of having fun with it just because, like you said, I had the day off and I was really trying to get this game done. So I unlocked a ton of achievements, and I have a feeling I spammed a lot of people's feed with I'm on a 2-year win streak. So
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I bet you don't. So there you go. You're welcome, everybody. I was having a little bit of fun, but mostly I was just trying to get my number 2 Ben 10 game done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I talked about Ben 10, the other game, the first game that I played last week, and I was like, okay, that was easy. Why not get the next one? So I got the next one, which is Ben 10 Ultimate Alien Cosmic Destruction, and completed that as well. So I started that yesterday, finished it today. Not much to say about that other than it was basically the same game that they kind of recycled all of the assets and animation for the second one. I guess it was a year apart, but it doesn't really... You can't really tell, and I guess it's slightly better, slightly improved. But anyways, easy, old Xbox 360 game.
How long does it take?
It took, I started it last night. I got 2 levels done, and then a better part of today. So I'd say I spent probably 8 hours, right around 8 hours, getting it done. 2 hours last night, 6 hours today. That makes about sense.
Sure.
Yeah. This week I also played Darkest of Days, another very old 360 game that I had on the shelf. Again, I'm telling you, I'm just trying to clear off my shelves at this point. And started that, completed that this week. They had the famous Horse Puncher achievement, which was
that's right,
which was fun. But a little more frustration with that one. But it wasn't too bad, and I got that done this week. I've been playing some other stuff, like for RTDL. I played GTA as well, but mine was a pretty easy 360 achievement, so it was only for 5 minutes or so. I played some Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. That was interesting, because I had to get to the second level, but I had to play as the second co-op character.
Yeah.
And I had no one to play with me. So I had to play both characters through the first level by myself. That was challenging.
Yeah, that's not easy.
No,
because it's the same screen, right? I mean, you can't leave.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't leave your buddy.
And especially towards the end, they're throwing stuff at you that you kind of need to do simultaneously, but you can't do when you have only 2 hands instead of 4. Fortunately, I didn't have to get too far into the second level to get the achievement, so it was just a little bit of a struggle to get that first level done. But so I got that done for.
You really couldn't wait for like a Proulx mate or a Proulx.
He refused.
Mate?
He was sitting next to me, and he didn't. I said, "Please, just play through this one level. It's going to take 5 minutes, man." You know, I don't want to. Because he's dumb and he's got a stupid face, and I hate him right now. So, he didn't want to do it. So, so I did it myself. Whatever, fine, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, you're gonna, now that you got a serious relationship, you're gonna be saying that a lot. You're just gonna do it yourself.
And then other than that, not much. I've those two things, and then Dragon Age 2. I talked about that. Played a bit of that as well. And so. Towards the end of last weekend, the challenge, or what do they call it? Quests? The Xbox Live quests, right?
The rewards quests or something like that.
The rewards quest, where you could win a 24-karat gold-plated Xbox One, which would be amazing. Not that I'm going to, but you had to do these certain things, and one of the things was you had to get 2 achievements. I got all the other things just by playing. It was like. Play half an hour of 3 different games or
right.
Stuff like that. Super easy stuff. The only thing that I didn't do naturally was get 2 achievements in one of the games with gold.
Right.
So I started, and I'm probably about halfway through Crazy Taxi, which I haven't played since 2000
Dreamcast
2001.
That's the last time I played it.
Yeah.
Dreamcast.
I don't think I played it on the Dreamcast. I think I played it in the arcade. Right?
Yeah,
it was also an
I
arcade
played
game.
it at the barcade when I was in Philadelphia. It was super fun. I forgot how much fun that game was until I played it again.
Did they have the original soundtrack in the barcade?
In the barcade, no.
Yeah, I think so.
Did they? Because that, I mean, like you listen to this one, you're like, ugh.
It's bad. It is so bad.
terrible.
Oh wait, so
It's like a parody of what they think early 2000s.
Yeah, like I like The Offspring and
Yep.
Bad Religion. Like I'll listen to that all day.
That was what was in
Yeah.
the arcade. Yeah.
And now this one is like, what is this?
So
It's
that's
bad.
really lame.
It's bad.
If that's the case. I guess they didn't want to pay to license it. I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine it's licensing issues.
Maybe they need Taxi Michael to make a better soundtrack, like Space Michael.
That game is. It was fun at the time. It's tough to hold up. Once you play more than an hour of Crazy Taxi, that's enough.
Yeah,
Taxi.
It definitely is a short game though. Like it's a game you play like 3 or 4 times in the arcade, and that's good.
Yeah, it's a perfect arcade game.
Yeah.
Yep. You put 2 quarters in, maybe $1 or 2. You have some fun, and then
I think I played 3 rounds. Like the first one was a warm up, then the second one was good, the third one was good.
I remember being around when that first came into the arcade, and it was like $1.25 a play when that thing was popular.
Well, so did arcades ever have the sitting cabinet, like the sitting version?
yeah.
Or was it always standing?
No, mine
Pod
was
Racer
sitting.
was sitting.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've only ever played the standing ones.
Really? No,
Yeah.
I remember on
I
the
thought
Jersey
there was
Shore
both, yeah.
out on the boardwalk playing the sit-down version. Yeah, it had like a little... I mean, it even had like... I think it was like enclosed, too. Like you were... I can't remember exactly, but it was definitely sitting.
Yeah, I thought I had seen pictures of sitting ones, but I couldn't remember. Yeah, fun
There's
game.
no House of the Dead.
No, House of the Dead is the best. It's the best of all time. There's a new House of the Dead coming out. Japan only, though.
Oh.
But it looks awesome.
Sounds like another Mick road trip.
I wish. I wish. That'd be amazing. I would love
Japan's not that far away. It's right next to, Idaho, right?
Yeah. I mean, probably 6-8 hour drive, something like that. But I mean, after the first Mick disappointment, I don't know. This summer,
you got some, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about food. You got some Szechuan. Wow, I can't even say
yes, how did I forget to talk about that? Of course, I did. I got some Szechuan sauce. So this time McDonald's didn't screw it up. I mean, now Szechuan sauce, if I had to go really far out of my way, I probably wouldn't have done it because it's not that like big of a thing to me.
Yeah, not that
like,
novel.
Yeah, but of course, if I get, I just went to McDonald's for lunch and I got some Szechuan sauce, of course I'm going to try it. So I got a 20-piece nuggets, which was very disappointing. I haven't had nuggets in a long time, or more than like half of one from, someone. They're so tiny now.
Yeah, they are.
They must have been like twice that big.
And there's substantially more breading.
Yeah.
It's like there's air pockets in them.
The breading stayed the same, and then the chicken was like half as much as it used to be.
Yeah.
But I do like that they're still shaped like boots. Some of them.
Oh, there's a special name for them. One of my coworkers, my old boss, a friend of mine, works at the factory that makes those, and they have like special names for them.
For the boot one?
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe it is boot. But they have,
I mean, there's other ones too. Like there's like the 3 or 4 different shapes.
There's 3 different, I think there's 4 different shapes.
Yeah. So I got that. I got 3 Szechuan sauce, and then I got some extra sweet and sour because that's my favorite. And I didn't want to eat all the Szechuan sauce at once. So I ate one. It's pretty good, but sweet and sour is better.
It is the bomb.
It's McDonald's sweet and sour in general, like, is good for sweet and sour. Like, they're like up there. I love sweet and sour sauce, all of them. You
live in New York. Like, you have access to good Chinese food. Why?
No.
Why would you tap into?
I have tried so many different Chinese places here, all terrible. Everyone.
Are you going to Little Italy? Because there's probably terrible Chinese.
I'm not in New York
Italy.
City.
No.
That's why. New York City probably does, but yeah, no, I'm not in New York. I'm in upstate New York. It sucks. Yeah, the Chinese food I've had, I think I went to 3 or 4 different places. It was all exactly the same. It was just like from some factory somewhere, and they just warm it up. I got the same wonton soup from 4 different places. Exactly the same.
Well, there's your problem. You're getting wonton soup. You gotta get something
wonton soup is
more creative.
Well, I'm getting other stuff too. But wonton soup is my favorite. Wonton soup and sweet and sour pork are like my favorite things. Terrible. So whenever I go to the West Coast, I gotta get good Chinese food. Good West Coast Chinese food, Best Coast Chinese food, because it's way better. It's way better. Anyway, Szechuan sauce.
Any more gaming there, Proulx?
I haven't finished talking about Szechuan sauce yet.
No, I think we're okay there.
You got me going on Szechuan sauce.
What more is there to say?
I'm going to describe what it tastes like for those of you that can't try Szechuan sauce. So I've got 2 more sitting here that I'm going to save for some point. But
they're going to go bad.
Well, I'll eat them before that happens. It's kind of like sweet chili with soy sauce.
Okay,
kind of
that sounds pretty
tastes
good.
like. Yeah, it's pretty good, and and I would say if they planned on keeping it permanently, it would be worthy of a spot for a choice. But if it was going to replace something like sweet and sour, it can stay dead because sweet and sour is a bomb. Yeah, it's not bad. Not super spicy, but it's pretty good. I would try. I would say if you have the opportunity, try it. It's pretty good.
I'm on a diet now, so I don't know if McDonald's is on my menu.
You get a 4-piece nuggets. There's a lot of protein. There's like 50.
Yeah.
There's like 50 grams of protein in a 20-piece nugget.
Well, and it just goes right through you too, right? You don't actually pull any nutrients out because they just slide right on by.
They've already been pulled out by the machines.
Yeah. Just eating reconstituted mush. Can I talk about video games now?
Yeah, go. Fream, what have you been playing?
So I'm kind of all over the place because end of the month means you got to close out all the contests and everything. So I did such a thing. And now that I'm like, actually, it's only a 2-man GTA SC, I feel like I actually have to perform. So I've been going at, like normal games, actually completing things. So I played Dream Break. I did that completion. I literally just used a walkthrough. I could see how that game would be fun back in the day. But I just really, like, it reminds me, of, like, Another World, where it's those kind of early, very deliberate side-scrolling platformers that are just slow and annoying, and, but there's enough mini-games in there, like, oh, I could see how this would be fun. Not for me. I'm just glad I got the completion. That was great. And I worked on Rocket League a little bit. Now that I got my Xbox set up down here, I booted that thing up and was boosting goals because that was really all I needed left. And so I was doing work on the computer. I figure I can just hit the trigger button and tap a goal in there. So I only have 2 achievements left in Rocket League to get the completion, and it is getting a painted item and getting a very rare item and doing that weather level. And so I think that there might be an intrepid listener who has those things that would be willing to trade me. So that I can just get this completion. I don't know if Proulx or Randy or you guys have this loot that you can hook me up with, but I know there's some community members who likely do. So hit me up because I would love to get this thing off, especially for a rocker dude. Right? There's 2 R's in there, so I'll take one of those R's as a Rocket League. I started up Chroma Gun. In an effort to, I had an RTDL achievement on there. I had to get to level 6. I only made it to level 3. I just ran out of time in the month. Chroma Gun's kind of fun. It's like a Portal wannabe, where instead of doing portals that you open up, you have the 3 primary colors in your little gun here, and then you have to change the color on walls to attract these worker drones, or you can change the color of the drones, or you can, you mix a little blue, a little red, make purple. So it's like this kind of fun little color puzzle thing that is, it's not Portal. It's not anything, crazy special, but it's enjoyable. Kind of Portal light, I guess, is how I would say it. Achievements come fast and furious, which is nice. The one thing I don't care for is the checkpointing on the levels. Like, the levels are just kind of long and annoying for no reason. You feel like you get to a spot and you're like, okay, there should be a checkpoint right there, and then there's not. So that's a little frustrating. But it was obviously February, game of the month, Teslagrad. If you guys didn't watch my final, so it was my final stream, although I didn't complete the game, so I might try to throw in a bonus stream where I finished the last 2 bosses and the last 2 scrolls to complete that game. But I was at the very top of the tower, and I decided, okay, you know what? It's cleanup time. I'm going to go all the way back and get everything I needed. So I had a map with little circles that showed me what, that there's a scroll in the room. And I just went back and collected all of them. And so in 90 minutes, I hit 26 of the 36, right, scrolls that are in the game, or however many scrolls there are. But that was fun. I was like just popping achievements after achievement. And it was cool to know the room and then have to figure out the puzzle. And the one that actually surprised me too was the kitty cat one. Right, so I went up there and I got the scroll, and I was just like, "Oh, look, the cat!" And my guy turned to look at it, and I went to do something else, and so I stood there for a while, not paying attention, and then that achievement unlocked. I was like, "Oh, wow, okay, great!" Like, that was totally by accident. I'm glad I didn't have to backtrack to do this. So yeah, that was kind of fun. And then it was the end of the month, so that means the last 2 things I needed to do, get a Z and a P. Well, I did Plague Inc., just real quick, get one of those, and I went back to a Zombie Army Trilogy. I needed to kill 100 snipers. I think I was at 60 or 70 when I started, so I just had to do 30. There happens to be, if you look in the guide, there's multiple spots that people suggest. The one where there was 4 snipers, it's like deep into one of the levels. I had started that, and I was like, oh, this is really far in. I don't want to go this far. So I opted to do, like, the second checkpoint had 2 snipers right away. And so I was like, okay, boom, boom, got those guys, killed the other 2, like the other scrubs, throwing a grenade at them, because I need dismemberments too. Got those, and then every 20 it ticks up. It's like, oh, okay, I'm at 80 now. I need to do this 10 more times. That should be fine. So I got that achievement. Only 3 achievements left in Zombie Army Trilogy, which is wonderful. The last few things, of course, Battleborn and Diablo, no achievements to earn, but I played those on Monday and Wednesday respectively. Diablo, I do have an RTDL achievement. This is great because it's get to level 70 in the RTDL. Well, guess what? I'm at level 69, so that is sweet.
Nice.
Happens, not preloaded, but accidental preload, I guess. So I'll actually be able to get that this month, which I'm pumped for. Finally, we did some PvZ boosting in the Z to Z Thursday night community boost. We did finished up Suburbanation, which was great, but we also finished and this is my win of the week, the Crazy Ops first try. It was me, Mattism, Doughboy, and Geek Squad, and at one point we hit the. So when's the second boss wave? Wave 8, right? So at wave 8 we got Super Yeti Wave, and that's just so annoying because all the soldiers come out and they're the ice soldiers, and so everybody's getting frozen, and so we got just wrecked. Actually, at one point I died and I glitched into the arch. Like, I was inside the world looking out. I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? And then later that game, Doughboy actually got kicked out. Like, he just up and got booted out of the game. So we were 3-person in it for a while and freaking out because it's like, God, we made it this far, and he's trying to invite him in, hoping for the best. Thankfully, he came in, it worked, and we all got the achievement. So that was wonderful. First try, although we do have to get that Vampire Super Wave, which I still don't even have on the 360 version. That's annoying. And then the final thing I did, I stayed up late to do it, but this is a wonderful little trick you can do. For those of you who have Blood Bowl 2, it's super convoluted, so take a look at the achievement guides for these on trueachievements.com. It's in regards to, so there's the one for trading players that really spells out how to do it. But once you learn the trick about manipulating the teams and the team management, I was able to get this one of collecting $500,000 for my team. And the way you do it is you set up, you need 2 accounts. You set one up to create the league, like your main account creates a league, and then you join it with your one of your teams. And I recommend starting a new team, because if you start with your good team, then you're going to be you're going to have too much money and not any experience, and you get your crap beat out of you because the other team gets, it's kind of a handicap. They call it inducements, where they like boost up their abilities to get to the level of your total money. So if you're just sitting on a ton of money in your pot, it doesn't do you any good. So you just set up some dummy teams. So join with a dummy team, and then on your second account, join that league. You have to quit the competition and then go to the transfer market, sell one of your random players for $500,000. And your new team that hasn't bought any players yet, you start the team with nothing. You have all the money that you start with, and yeah, guess what? I'll buy that guy for $500,000. And cha-ching! It's my top RTDL achievement. It's like a 6.4 ratio or something. So I have a single achievement that boosted me real high up the charts, which is awesome. So that's fun. And then next week, and I didn't get to do it tonight, and I was bummed that I wasn't able to do this, but I have it all set up. So take a look back at my friend feed. I'm sure everybody will see it. I'm really excited. I got a milestone coming up, and I'm going to do it probably tomorrow. I don't think we'll get done recording before then, so I'll do it tomorrow night. That was what we've been playing. Let's talk about some topics, some news that we have going on. There is, there's plenty of things to talk about here. I want to start just real quick, for anyone who cares, the hero shooter Paladins. Well, as from an achievement standpoint, this is from trueachievements.com. They're getting a patch that is going to make life easier. Now, granted, it is still one of the most grindy achievements there is, or games that are out there. You have to just log in a ton of time. Kind of like Battleborn was before they did the patch, where you're just like, are you serious? Nobody's going to play it that long. That's just dumb. Why would you do that? Well, this game followed the same suit, but Hi-Res Studios came back and said, all right, we're going to cut the experience you need to level up way, 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 way back. So you can actually see a chart on trueachievements.com, and maybe the show notes. This link might be there, but anyway, it'll still, right, they initially said it's going to be about 4,000 hours to do. Okay, so new patch, Torn Prince 2012 says he's done the calculations, and he's saying it might be about 700 hours.
Oh, good.
Could be 200 hours if you got the experience boosters going, but that's a lot better than 4,000, right?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Good luck, Paladins players.
Not for me, thanks.
Yeah.
That is a doozy. Randy, does that pique your interest at all? I know you like those big, long...
I'm avoiding those games now.
You done, huh?
Yeah, that's...
All right.
Gra was enough.
For forever.
Yeah, I really just want to get the last couple big grindy games off my tag so I can just, not put any more on there.
Totally,
I mean, if it's a
get
game... So if it's a game that I really like and want to play... and it's kind of grindy, I'll like Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct is fine because I wanted to play it, but I would never just put another one on my tag just for the sake of completing another grindy game like Quake or something. It's just too much. It takes too long.
Yeah. Gotcha. Are you, I'm looking in our little notes page here, and there is an image that says Oddworld left without comment. And then I click on it. What the hell is this? Is this you?
So,
wait, we talked about this already.
I don't remember hearing about it.
Or did we? I think we forgot to talk about this.
No,
actually.
we definitely talked about this.
Not on the show, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did, because I would have never remembered this if we didn't talk about it on the show.
Maybe we talked about it off the air.
I don't think so. But
that's what I think.
All right.
I mean, I think Fream would have remembered it because he listens to the show and we don't.
I actually listened to the show.
All right.
And I think I would have recognized Abe in a K-pop band or whatever.
Yeah, so this is so if I did talk about this, then we get a redo. So I came across this, I think it was on Twitter, and super weird. This is the weirdest ad I've ever seen in my life. So in Japan, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey was called Abe-A-Go-Go. Don't know why, but it was. That's what it was called.
Abe Vigoda?
Abe-A-Go-Go.
Oh, okay.
So based on this ad, what I think happened was there was some misunderstanding in communication between what the game was and what the ad people thought the game was, because they talk about this in the game. The big thing with that game was game speak, and you could talk to the Mudokons and they were voiced, and you say hello, follow me, and all that. So what I think they got was oh, this game's about talking to people and saying hello. So they have this ad where Abe is hanging from cell phones of girls with cell phones from his non-existent long ponytail thing that now stretches across a page.
It's so
and
bizarre.
He says hello, and then there's 3 pictures in the bottom corner of the evil meat factory of him getting chopped up or something. Super weird. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know
So
what
strange.
happened to spawn this bizarre ad. Super weird. I just thought it was hilarious.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll just move on.
So I'll put that in show notes.
And wonder if you can see the picture.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's also on my Twitter.
Nice. Proulx, you were talking about your 2-year achievement streak. Well, there's another milestone that we just passed, and for those of you familiar with the old Achievement Hounds podcast, there was a forum. That's where I got my start doing community events and things like that. But they started a contest called the Potentially Endless Bean Dive. And the goal of the contest was to unlock, like a bean dive, unlock a single achievement in a new game every day. That was the goal. So we are now just past the 5-year anniversary. Sea Monkey Powder, Mad Eye Pad Eye, and Montana 97 have unlocked one achievement, at least, in a new game for the last 1,830 days. That is insanity. So they have added 1,830 new games to their tags in the over the last 5 years. And there's, with how many games are coming out, there's really no stopping them. Like, there's far more games coming out than there are days in the year. So simply this battle of attrition is constantly going. This is super impressive. So to Sea Monkey Powder, Mad Eye, Pad Eye, and Montana 97, you're nuts. Like,
are they actually competing at this point?
No. Well, now it's a battle of attrition. Now I think it's just like, I mean, I was talking to Mad Eye Pad Eye in one of the Discords that I'm in, and he was just like, at this point, I just want to see like how far I can go, almost. Like at some point he will quit. I mean, it's his statement is that he will quit at some point, but like at this point, it's like just a freak show. Like
you're
we
so
gotta see.
far in,
right?
At this point,
I would think like, man, if I were in that position, I would just say, gentleman's agreement, 2,000, we'll hit it, and we'll all just take a vacation after that. Like just let it go at that point. But I know that's not how competitions work, and I obviously that you're a different animal if you're in for 1,800 days. But
yeah, and these guys, wild. I mean, these guys are all buddies now. Like they coordinate, things on time. And I think all three of them kind of wanted. Could you imagine like saying, okay, we're gonna stop at 2? It's like when you're in high school and you're on the phone with your girlfriend and like, hey, no, okay, I love
you stop your.
You hang up
time.
now. No, you hang up. It's gonna be one of those things like, yep. Okay, 2,000. That's it. Nobody unlock an achievement today. All right, no new games. Yeah, no, you don't unlock a game. No, you don't unlock. There's no way. Like, someone's going to try to sneak in. He's like, oh, Matt, I unlocked the game. Quick, boot up the Xbox. I got to get in there. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that. So, yeah, anyway.
And would you want to throw it away at that point? I mean, that's
no, at that point, 5 years.
I guess that's why it's called potentially endless, because at this point, it could potentially be endless, for sure.
Yeah. So do they... my question is, then... Because my understanding, at some point, there must have been, as a competition, there must have been some sort of prize offered up.
Yep.
If one of them were to, or the two of them were to bow out, or whatever, 5 years down the line, would they even receive anything at this point?
No. No. And I think, well, I mean, the site that was offering it, and I don't even know what, I want to say it was like $60 game. Like, that was like, what was on the table back in the day.
Worth it.
Yeah, like you'd get a game out of it. But at this point, I think Matt, I even said, he's like, the amount of money I put into keeping this streak going is just nuts. And so like the achievement hounds have long abandoned their site. Like I check in every probably once a week just to see what's going on, and there's like 2 or 3 people there who are just saying hi in the chat just so that they can be the first person each month to say hi. Like it's so dead. It's
like the website's still up actually.
It's really interesting because it reminds me of when you were talking about those abandoned malls, and you're just like, what is this place? Like, are you kidding me? Like every now and again, it'd be like probably once every 6 or 7 months. Somebody will come in and be like, he'll like answer like 4 or 5 posts and then like disappear. And it's like, what did you,
and it's
like, it's
weird,
notice?
Isn't it? Like it's abandoned, but it's not. Like,
yeah.
It's that same kind of thing. Like a dead mall. It's like, it is empty, but there's still like one guy over there. Like,
yeah, it's really
weird.
It's
weird. It's a weird thing, and it's not closed. Like, it's still operating.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
not
they even
really.
run. They like, still do.
You wonder how it's operating, but it's
so they had
not.
This thing called achievement points, like in just for typing and using the forums, you got points. So I think I have like like 3 million points or something, like, because there's a bank and it accrues interest, and they have a lottery, and so like twice a week you can buy lottery tickets. And so like if I happen to check in on a Tuesday and I remember, I'll be like, oh, I guess I'll buy one lottery ticket. Oh, guess what, you won the lottery, because you are literally the only person who like, I've seen Spanky and Spronkle do that too, where it's all of a sudden, or X Towers.
So how many points do you get when you win the lottery by yourself?
1,000 lottery points. It costs you 50, and then the pot is 1,050 because you're in the pot. And so like every week they're giving out 1,000 points, but like I make so much more in interest that
I actually
you can see all the top people over there.
I just looked the other day at I probably posted like 3 posts on Achievement Hounds like way back, but I also claimed a bunch of those medals that you got achievement points for. So I think I got like 10,000 achievement points or 20,000 achievement points for medals, and then I put it in the bank like 5 years ago, and now it's like 1 million something. That compounding interest.
Yep, there it goes. Keeps going. Anyway, enough about long dead users and sites. Let's talk about the brand new Battlefield game. There was rumors out there that it was going to be Bad Company, and those were quickly shot down by Games. What is it? GamesBeat. And they had an image. So it was originally called Battlefield 2, and now it's called Battlefield V, which I assume is like V-Day. Anyway, it's set in World War II.
Might be 5.
It could be 5.
Because the last one that was numbered
Battlefield
was
4.
Yeah.
Was 4 wasn't set in World War II though, was it? That was modern, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was modern. I mean, does it really matter? Are they
No.
Are they really connected?
No, it does not matter. There's no
Totally
naming
off the
scheme.
rails. I think the only reason I added it here is that like in talking with people were actually excited about another Bad Company game. Like people enjoyed that campaign and thought that it was fun. It was different. They kind of missed that, but looks like we're getting just another World War II shooter again. Oh boy, is there no good new ideas?
No.
Well, here's one, Randy, and this is right up your alley. Remember the Darwin Project from E3, where the sportscaster came on and was shoutcasting.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, do you remember that? He's shoutcasting his game that no one ever had any clue about.
the esports incoherent yelling guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that game, the Darwin Project, it is launching to Xbox Game Preview this month. It's going to cost you $15. Comes out on March 9th, so right after this show comes out. It is, it's one of those, Hunger Games-esque Battle Royale type matchups. And, it's this one is set in post-apocalyptic Canada.
Go sports.
They're
guys.
preparing for an upcoming ice age.
Esports.
So you have to survive against your combatants, and then maybe win a prize so you can actually get a warm coat or something. I don't know. Darwin Project, friends. It is a thing, and
so it's another PUBG ripoff. Is what you're saying?
Yep. The thing is though, like you say ripoff, but
I know
you look at. So I actually have PUBG now because I got the X, but I haven't played it. But, they just launched a new patch, and they're like, the Xbox version is garbage. Like, it's just crappy, especially compared to the PC. And it's like, well, Fortnite, on the other hand, is killing it.
Yeah.
And it's,
that's my sense as well.
Right. So even if PUBG has the brand recognition and is first to market, the experience is so awful on the one or in comparison that Fortnite might actually end up eating its lunch. And so maybe there is room for more of these. It's going to be obscene. I mean, this market is going to be so flooded by. I was listening to the Giant Bomb's Game of the Year stuff, and there's a segment they called Please Stop, and it was a lot of the loot boxes and crap like that. But they're saying, I feel like next year, so this would be 2018, our please stop is please don't make any Battle Royale games. Like, there's just too many, so please stop doing that. And I feel that same way. You're going to get clones after clones after clones.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because I was reading some comments about this and looking at some stories about this, and Doom, I think, was the original deathmatch title.
Yes, it was.
Right. So, and they had a lot of problems with other people picking that up, but now deathmatch is so prevalent. It would be like complaining now that there are too many deathmatch games, but nobody does that because it's just part of what everything is. So if maybe this PUBG Battle Royale,
that's like multiplayer at its core, though.
Yeah,
is just pitting individuals or teams against each other.
That was the first one to do it.
Yeah,
it coined the name that's used in everything. Like,
I'll
Doom
give it that.
Invented the deathmatch name. So
Right.
I think it's the same thing. It's just we're just looking at it differently because we've already got an established multiplayer world, and then this is just a new piece of it that's very popular right now.
Gears did it with Horde mode.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. Exactly.
That's why we call it Horde mode, even though it could very well be called Flood mode or, whoever came up with it first.
Was Gears the first game to do that, though?
Oh, yeah.
I do remember it definitely popularized it.
Popularized it is the way I would go.
I mean, there may be examples, but I'm pretty sure it was kind of the first. It kind of broke that open.
That's what I'm thinking too.
It was Gears 2.
We had handkerchiefs, but
Gears,
Kleenex came
Gears
in and made the disposable facial tissue, so they get to call it Kleenex, and everybody calls it Kleenex. So
I think it's just the same case here. PUBG will have that stigma for a while, but give it a year or two, and PUBG will not have that. It won't be, player unknown Battle Royale mode. It'll just be Battle Royale mode, and everybody will have one, and it won't be a big deal. So,
well, and PUBG's certainly not. H1Z1. Like, there's so many other Battle Royales out there. Yeah. It's just that for some reason this just clicked. Everyone, and good on it. Like, I think it's revolutionized how we play multiplayer games in this recent history. But, you're right. It's going to get just absolutely beaten to the ground, and hopefully some people come with some great mechanics. But we had it was 3 years ago, the 4v1, the asymmetric multiplayer. That was the thing. That was the thing that failed.
That did not work out.
No, it's almost impossible to balance. It's tough to do that. Yeah.
Well, here's a new thing that comes through Mixer. Mixer had a new update this week, and one of the key pieces is that you are now able to share your controller with your viewers. Of course, PlayStation did this back in the day. Famously, watched a video where some kid was tricked into letting a stranger use his controller, and then he promptly deleted all of his Destiny characters in front of his face and watched the kid cry.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I couldn't possibly think of anything bad that would happen here in giving someone remote access to your controller. Over stream, a complete stranger. Here you go, and God forbid you take your eye off the screen for a second, because that, how there's so many people are going to be going into settings, right? There has to be blocks for that.
Change the language to Japanese.
Surely there are restrictions for that, but we'll see.
Look at what Microsoft just did this week and displayed everyone's real names. So
there is that. Yeah.
So that's something that happened.
A new quote-unquote security update. Whoops.
I think the security update came after.
Did it? Oh, to fix it?
I'm sure it did, but it was supposed to be unrelated. I think. I don't know. I didn't look that closely into it, so I should stop talking about it. But that was my understanding of it.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So anyway, yes, there's a virtual controller, and you can play with your buddy. And honestly, this could be super fun, right? Because we always complain about games where it's local co-op only. And I mean, don't you think this could bypass local co-op, where you could, you can almost have a shared.
Well, we're
experience?
converging. We're converging there, aren't we? Like, think of Overcooked. Overcooked. God. It's Overcooked, right? That's
Overcooked.
Right. I was like, my mind was like Overwatch, and then I'm thinking, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
That's the game.
So think of Overcook, and how that would work. If you have the ability now to remote into an Xbox or something like that, then you completely blur the line between local and online co-op, right? If you can do these sorts of things this easily, it would not be hard to find those local only games and get into a game with one of your friends and just play it quote unquote locally. That would be amazing.
And only one of you would have to own it too.
And that's true. And of course, with all this streaming that's been going on with Microsoft and the Mixer stuff as well, and this definitely seems to be the road they're going in. Right now, the big concern for me is I don't want people. I hope and would assume that this would be separate from. Like, you would not be able to. If I can't get past this part on this game, I can't just invite you into my game to unlock all the achievements for me. That would be a little.
There's nothing to stop you.
Nothing now, but there could be something that they could put in place.
Maybe
in order to stop you.
So the one thing I'm seeing here, I don't know if it's going to work because, I can just read this little piece here that says, with the share controller, Mixer streamers on an Xbox One will now have the option of sharing their controller with the viewer directly. The viewer will have the ability to use any Xbox button, minus the guide button, either online or by plugging in a controller to their PC. And since the share controller is built directly into Xbox, it can be used with any Xbox One game. Viewer and streamer can work together in the game or not, which will result in some great moments and even a little hilarious chaos. It's your choice. So that's almost making me think next step is going to have to be that couch co-op thing. Because this is like where you can co-pilot almost.
Yeah.
That you're interfacing on the same single controller and not bypassing matchmaking with the local co-op thing.
Yeah, there are very specific situations where this would be used.
No, because what you could do is you just boot up a local game and have your dummy account with its Xbox controller sitting right there and share that one. So you can take first player and share second player, and the other person plays second player.
Yeah,
I found the workaround.
You are going to still deal with lag issues at that point. I mean, we're not there yet. Especially if it's something like, for example, on the article that we're looking at now, we have a Cuphead example. I imagine that the lag difference there would be significant enough in order to be it would kind of put you at a disadvantage at that point.
It's possible. Get decent internet, man.
Yeah, well, it depends on where you are.
I don't know. I mean, who knows?
That, though.
Yeah, there's lots of factors.
I tried local streaming for the first time, like streaming your Xbox to your computer the other day.
Not great.
On a wired connection through my network. I mean, it was very good for streaming, but I could never play a game properly with that. Even though there was a very little lag, and that's local. That's not even streaming through your internet. It's just through your local router. It's just not there.
It depends on the game. I really think it depends on the game. You're not going to do multiplayer Call of Duty streaming. We're just not there. But you can easily do.
And nobody's going to step in and jitterbug for you, right? Like there's just no way.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Anything that requires any kind of timing, even if that's just like driving in Grand Theft Auto, is not going to work. But you could play like a puzzle game or something.
But again,
Grandpa Poobah. There you go, Proulx.
Yep.
Someone's going to get it for you.
Exactly. But that's the thing. In 5 years, this is going to be a different story.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the thing.
I completely think so.
We're just at the early stages of this, and that's cool, and it's cool and interesting and neat, and hopefully these people are thinking about these things when they're building the fundamentals of how this is going to work. But you know, it presents a lot of challenges for how gaming will go down the road.
What do you think about people, quote unquote, selling their services?
No.
To do achievements? Should there be asterisks? Should achievements be disabled?
They should. They should be disabled, I think.
I don't want it. I don't want that to be the case. Like if I'm co-oping with a buddy,
they shouldn't be disabled. Okay, so if you, like you mentioned, Fream, if you have a second profile, anything achieved with both of those profiles would be legitimate. I'm okay with that. That's basically just a way of doing multiplayer over the internet. Yeah. If it's you buying $20 of Guitar Hero for you to sell it to somebody else to do it, I think that's delegitimizing the score.
I agree too. I'm just curious how that would be handled, or if it'll be addressed at all.
I think because at this point,
there's nothing stopping me, from my game share partner. If I had one, that I could log on as them on their home Xbox and unlock achievements for them.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of the same thing. And I mean, yes, it's against the terms of service, but you can't enforce that really.
Well, you could. They just choose not to.
They just choose not to. Sure. So I don't know. I mean, I hope it doesn't toggle it off, But I also hope that it's not like, could you imagine people who are like, and it's funny because people are going to ask the top Gamerscore earners, they're like, hey, Smirnov or Rand or Stallion, hey, could you unlock some achievements for me? And it's like you're asking the wrong people, because the reason they have such a high Gamerscore is because they do their own and they do it all the time. And it's like, I don't have time to unlock crap for you. Screw that. It's not like I'm making Gamerscore. I'm not printing money here. I'm actually doing the work. So, you'd be better off finding someone who is just hard up for money and has free time. I bet there'll be mixer streams like that. Hey, I just lost my job. So you want me to unlock Gamerscore for you? Here you go. And I'll do it. You let me play.
Neo Geo.
Yeah. Right? Controller share me. I'll Neo Geo your entire library. I'll get you 10,000 Gamerscore in a day. Easy. And it'll only cost you $100.
If they don't glitch on you.
There's that.
I didn't have that problem with any of them.
Yeah, well, you're lucky, I guess.
I'm not even going to talk about Neo Geo. Those games are not fantastic.
They're garbage.
Wonderful. Well, let's move on. Last big kind of news story of the week. So the big thing that's happened this week, there's a couple of big things. And so we'll start with the ESA making some news. Well, the first thing is in terms of loot boxes. Well, the ESRB is now adding the phrase in-game purchases on the labels of games. So you look at the back, it'll say 2 to 4 players, co-op, online multiplayer, in-game purchases. That's their, letting parents know that there's, some type of loot box, something that requires extra money in the game.
No,
but they don't want to be that specific, so they say, oh, as a parent, you should do a little more research and figure that out. But we're just letting you know.
I'm gonna have to rain on this, Fream.
I think it's a terrible idea. So I'm ready for it.
Just wait. You're gonna think it's a really terrible idea when you hear the rest of it, because from what I read, in-game purchase also includes season passes, DLCs, cosmetic items. So any game that's getting a retail disc that a parent is going to look at has that label on it.
Oh, 100%.
Every single one of them. Because no game that goes, almost none that go to retail don't have extra purchases now.
Yeah,
it's completely pointless. Totally pointless.
It is.
This is completely meaningless label. It might as well not exist. It would actually be better if it didn't exist.
I don't know. I've been told that the ESRB is self-regulatory, so it's everything that they do is totally okay, and it's way better than any other way that this could possibly be handled. But no, this is silly. This is so little, so late that why bother? And like Randy says, it's not. It's actually counterproductive at this point. You're not actually informing anybody about anything at this point.
No, and all you're gonna do is people are gonna think, oh, that means loot boxes. When most of the time it doesn't mean loot boxes.
Right. Sends the wrong message.
Yeah.
This is
it's stupid.
I mean, I think, it's, I guess, so if I'm going to defend this, and again, I'm on your side, I think this is just dumb. But if I'm going to defend this, my angle would be that, is at least a visual trigger to an adult to say, okay, I should understand how this game functions and what it's trying to do to extort money from my child. Especially for younger kids, whether or not it's something they should even be a part of. Like I know with my kids doing phone games and stuff, and I'll say, hey, okay, look, this currency here, this is the out-of-game currency. Like, you have to spend money on this. So they'll give you some at the beginning to trick you into spending more money. You guys are free to spend all this money you want, but I'm taking it out of your piggy bank. If I ever see a charge on my credit card from these, I'm pulling money and like that. They're like, oh God, no, I don't want any of that. Don't take my money. And it's, so like I put the fear in God on them.
That's the anti-fry right there. Please don't take my money. Yeah.
Right. And so like, at least at that point, because now, my son's getting a little more savvy when it comes to games and things. Like, I could see him, poking around the internet and being, oh, hey, look, maybe because he's in the Nintendo ecosystem right now. And like, I don't know the Nintendo ecosystem as well. And so maybe he finds a game or like in Splatoon and, oh boy, yeah, they just came out with some new guns. Oh, I can buy these new guns. Great. It's Dad's credit card, so he won't know. Like, well, no, I will know and you'll be in big trouble. But, and actually, funny story. I don't know if you guys know about parental controls on the Switch at all. But there's an app on your phone that you can set up, and you can set like game time limits, and so like I put a timer on there.
Oh, an app on your phone, like the one you use to talk to people in your game. You're playing on your Switch.
Right. So I connected my son's Switch to my phone, and I said, okay, at 45 minutes, like my wife wants a hard stop at like 30 minutes, and I'm like, it's 30 minutes. I'll give him 45, but because I know some of that would be menus and stuff, so I'll give him 45. And I won't have it do anything, but it's just going to be there. And all of a sudden, my son turns it on. I didn't tell him I did this. He turns it on the next morning, and he goes, Dad, what's going on with my Switch? There's like a timer on it now. I'm like, yep. There totally is a timer. We told you we were going to do this. He's like, well, I don't want to waste my time. Like, what happened? And like, he had no idea what happened. So he assumed that when that timer hit 0, his Switch was going to shut down. So he like stopped playing with like 10 minutes left because he was terrified of what was going to happen to it if that reached quadruple zeros. And so I told him, like, look, here, buddy, I have not done anything to it yet, but this is going, I've low jacked your Switch. So I know where it is. I know what you're playing. And guess what? Here's the best part. I can shut it off remotely. So I had an alert come up on my phone saying, the time limit has been reached on Switch number 1. Would you like to disable it? I'm like, oh boy, I could shut you down right now, son. Like, I mean, imagine, pretty cool.
I don't know how your guys' experience was, but I had a childhood where I was pretty restricted in what I could play and when I could play it, but I would find the time. I would definitely, when my parents went to bed, that was prime AOL Instant Messenger time. When my parents were not aware, that was when I did most of my gaming or all this quote unquote illicit activity that I shouldn't have been doing. And it's crazy now to think about, man, like how much control you can have over your kids. I imagine that's quite the dilemma because I don't know, maybe your kids should be free to be exploring and do. I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I'm not here to comment on that. But I'm just imagine if my parents could have shut all of my late night gaming down, I would have missed a lot of experiences out when I was a kid. Like tremendous amount of gaming experience.
I mean,
when I was a kid.
it is a double-edged sword, because I remember growing up and my parents, like, my dad was traveling all the time, so my mom, I mean, video games and TV babysat me. Like, she didn't care. I knew she was there, and like it was fine. I had a good childhood. Everything was great, but it was like, if I went and spent 3-4 hours playing video games a night, she didn't care. As long as I still did my homework, got my school stuff done, and was taken care of, wasn't falling back in school, like, yeah, not a problem. I proved a level of responsibility, so it didn't work. Well, that's not working with my family. Like, it's kind of cyclical. It's like, yeah, I probably should have had more limits on what I was doing. like you said, like, when you're exploring, and you're especially at these, like, I mean, he's 9, it's like, my wife's already telling me, this summer you're having the talk. Like,
oh boy.
Oh, I really don't want to have that talk. I really don't want to do that. And, and so it's like, but it's getting about that time. Like, and so now it's, I have to be concerned about what he's sneaking around doing. And, if he's like, oh boy, yeah, I can download some loot boxes, or I can go search for some prawn, or I can, whatever. I mean, it's I'm fighting it's a losing battle, essentially. And I mean, even people in the industry are saying, like, our children, like the next generations, are so much more savvy because they have to learn to bypass the security systems so they can still do what we did back in the day. Like when I hit the internet and do, those dark Google searches, it's like I didn't have to worry about, like, the biggest thing we had to do was clear the history. Like that was the most significant wall we had to pass, at least when I was growing up, to hide whatever I was doing on the internet. Just clear out history, clear out cookies, I'm set. Now, there's so many more savvy ways to track what people are doing, if you don't trust your kids or whoever, of course. But, now they have to do all these ways to scrub things, and there could be all this crap attached to these files and whatnot. Anyway, totally off the subject. ESRB, too little, too late. It is dumb. It's dumb.
Stupid.
Every game is going to have in-game purchases on it because it works. That's how games are continuing to support development. And, like you said, it would be more impactful. It would also be a marketing thing to say no in-game purchases.
Yeah. Exactly.
You should buy this
game.
game.
Imagine if they took the hard line and they just said gambling. This game product contains gambling aspects or some sort of,
they say when it has simulated gambling, but not real gambling.
Right.
No. Yeah.
We wouldn't want to put that on.
No. Like, imagine if they went all in, but of course they're not going to do that because of course they're not going to do that. I mean, come on.
So here's the other thing I want to talk about. It does involve the ESRB, but it also involves our fantastic president. We're likely gonna have some fun and make light of the situation.
What is great leader saying?
Yeah. So but I do want to say before we get into the frivolities of what we're about to talk about, like the tragedies down in Florida and the gun violence all over our country is disgusting and obscene. And I think it's completely out of control. I do enjoy watching things on the internet about people making fun of us for how obscene our gun regulations are, or lack thereof. But I'm a bleeding heart liberal, so that other people think I don't want to get into a political conversation about it. I do want to say, thoughts and prayers with anybody affected by gun violence and who are afraid to leave their house or go to school because of the potential of this. So with that being said, I'm going to make fun of it because that's how I get through difficult situations. I make light of it because that makes me feel better. And I try to laugh it off like it doesn't bother me deeply. But our amazing, great leader, right?
Great leader.
Insightful president, Mr. Trump, Mr. President Trump. He said, look, that kid, he just played too many violent video games. And so I'm gonna have a talk with the video game industry about about this, because I mean we can't have this level of gun violence.
They should have ratings for those.
So he said he's going to meet with video game industry to see what they can do on this front, and so at that point, that our president has been known to say things maybe without thinking about them, and so he just threw that out there. Okay, so what does that mean, right? Well, I don't know what video game people he thinks he's going to meet with, because I would think if it was me and I was looking for somebody, I would probably go to the most prominent video game. I mean, as little as we think of the ESRB and what they do, they are a consortium of all the biggest video game companies that you'd think maybe you'd want to, I don't know, involve them in maybe this conversation. Because let's see, who's in the ESA? Well, we've got Microsoft, EA, Activision, Take-Two, Nintendo, Sony. Kind of sounds like the bulk of the video game industry is connected, is part of the ESA. So maybe meet with them? Well, the ESA sent out a message saying, the ESA and our member companies have not received any invitation to meet with President Trump. The same video game companies played in the U.S. are worldwide. However, the level of gun violence is exponentially higher in the U.S. than other countries. Numerous authorities have examined the scientific record and found that there is no link between media content and real-life violence. The U.S. video game industry has a long history of partnering with parents and more than 20 years of rating video games through the ESRB. We take great steps in providing tools to help players and parents make informed entertainment decisions. So Trump's going to meet with the video game industry, but he's not going to meet with any of the biggest 7 companies that are involved. Like, who does he think he's going to talk to? Like, is he got some bobos on the inside who he's like, hey, what do you think about this, right? Video games are bad, huh? That's probably why there's so many crazy people out there.
The most important thing to note here is that this discussion, much like a lot... Okay, I'm going to be very careful.
This discussion.
With this discussion.
It's not a discussion.
With this conversation we're having, try to be as careful as possible not to politicize it as much as I can. With as many of the things that has been brought up in the past, it's possible that the president, dear leader, is maybe stuck in the past in this regard. And this question was settled fairly significantly, fairly conclusively in the 90s, right? This whole, are video games linked to violent
behavior?
And I think we've kind of gone past this. Why are we going back to this point of this? Again, we don't need to get into that. There's no reason for this meeting to take place, and I don't think it will ever even take place anyways. So it doesn't matter. So it's totally like, pointless. Why even discuss this? Because we've moved past this literally 20 years ago, probably even more than that at this point. This is silliness.
See, clearly great leaders just like me and stuck in the 90s.
You know what? I'd probably say he's probably more stuck in the 80s, but he definitely is.
I mean, I think I've shared this story before. Maybe I haven't, but and I'm not proud of it, but I mean, I was a dumb high school kid and I did stupid things. And this was before, probably the most publicized school shooting was the Columbine thing, that really made this whole, I don't even want to say it's a movement, but all these, you start seeing news reports all the time, but this was pre that. And I just remember, I'm a scientist, right? Tend to like math and science. I hate English. Hate it. Hate reading, hate writing. My least favorite things in school. And so when this teacher of mine, who is an absolute monster and I did not get along with, I even wrote papers telling her how terrible of a teacher she was. For instance, we had to do a compare and contrast. And I said, I compared a teacher versus a word I made up, a teacherer. And I said a teacherer is someone who just regurgitates things from a textbook and has no clue what they're talking about, literally just spelling out how much I disliked this teacher. So anyway, we had to write journals, and I of course saved this till I had to do a year's worth of journal in the month of June, with I did 10 days to write like 200 journal entries, and because I just hated writing them, and so there once a week you had free journal time, and I decided that I'm just bored, so I'm gonna write about shooting up a school. And like I was like, I wonder how many, what my escape plan would be. And it wasn't graphic, and I said it in jest, but I wrote about, thinking tactically about it. It was so dumb and super. I mean, I was like 14, I think 15 at the time. So dumb. I totally understand why the school freaked out about it. Rightfully so. I had to go, see the principal, vice principal, counselors, all this, tell them, like, look, it was a dumb joke. It was so stupid of me. I'm not a threat. I don't have access to weapons. But, I did stupid things like that. And you know what? The first thing that came to my mind was, because I knew I was boned, as video games. Totally. I saw it in a video game. I blamed video games because it was the easiest thing for me to think, like, I don't want to take responsibility for my own actions, even though I know it was just me being stupid. I'm going to blame someone else because it's going to get me out of hot water if I can throw the video games under the bus. And you know what? Kind of worked. Like, they were, yeah, maybe, okay. And I used that as part of my defense as to why, I thought that about those things. And I could look back on it, and it's like, yeah, you're such a freaking coward. Like, just to, A, do something so stupid, and B, think you could weasel your way out of it. And, now that I'm an adult and I look at it, it's like, if my kids did that, I would be so furious, and take responsibility for your action kind of thing. But it's an easy scapegoat, because you're like, well, yeah, look at all the shooting that they do every day. Of course they're going to think you can just go and shoot anyone. And I think, a lot of people on Twitter are saying it best, like, yeah, because, Australia has, plays the same video games, and boy, they don't have nearly as much gun violence as we do in America. Oh, what about Europe? Yep, no, America is pretty top-notch at gun violence, despite everyone playing the same video games. Gosh, there just doesn't seem to be a thread there, does it? It's so frustrating, and to see our industry, to see our industry, because you're gonna see uninformed people, like you said, Proulx, some of these, politicians. The one thing I tend to notice about politicians, certainly at the upper levels of government, lots of gray hair, wrinkles, glasses. They didn't exist when video games existed, right? Like, they are in a different world. They have no idea about this. Like, like I even mentioned, I don't know anything about the Switch, really. And I'm I'm actively playing video games. To think of how distant this group of people is from our hobby is mind-boggling. Like,
It's interesting you bring that up, because just recently somebody did I think it was a documentary specifically on Night Trap, but Night Trap was a big target in the 90s for violence in video games, which is funny because there is almost no violence. I mean, I don't know, I can say almost no violence, but not a lot of violence in the game, but there are a couple of, because it was full motion video, right. It was viewed as very graphic, even though it was they actually toned a ton of the game down. Originally the game was going to be vampires that like suck people's blood like vampires do,
right?
But then the company didn't like that. They're like, oh no, we can't do that. So then they called them augurs, and they were sick vampires that didn't have teeth, so they had to use machines to suck people's blood instead, and that was okay. So there was one scene where it was like the bad scene where they're like sucking someone's blood or whatever, and then of course the anti-video, or like the video games make people violent side, just took that scene completely out of context and just showed it. And so then the people, I think it was the Night Trap people, were saying, just play the game and you will understand how this makes sense. It's
Right.
completely taken out of context. And then, of course, the old fossils in wherever were like, I don't need to. I've seen enough.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to play it. I know that that's terrible. It's like, no, you don't actually at all. Like, context does a lot for stuff.
It is. It's crazy.
So, I mean, hopefully it doesn't come to that again, because I'm sure that will happen. Fortunately, as much as I hate what it's doing to the video game industry, it is nice that all of those little companies back from the 90s are gigantic companies now.
That's true.
So they can actually afford to defend themselves properly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, maybe hopefully that'll be a good thing.
And it is funny to think about, like, if you take that collection of, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, like, I mean, yeah, they all had clout, but, like, if you just take the gaming divisions of those brands, like, they collectively, they're, I don't know, back in the 80s, that was in the millions of dollar industry. And now we're up at like multiple billions.
EA's market cap is like $32 billion. I was just looking them up the other day.
Yeah.
Something at work for some reason. I was looking them up. Yeah, it's like 32 billion, I think, for EA. Just EA. That's not everybody.
Yeah, it's nuts. That's
I mean,
just crazy.
Steam is probably like 10 times that.
Yeah. Wow.
Or, Valve, obviously, but I mean, they're not publicly traded. So you can only speculate, but
so do we think? So what is Trump? Are we going to call him out on this and say, so when's that video game meeting happening, or are we just going to let it go and be like?
I would bet
$1,000
it doesn't happen. So it's not going to happen.
I would take that bet if I didn't care about money.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's basically what I'm saying. It's not going to happen. So
I think it's just another one of his distraction things to get people riled up about something or whatever. I don't know what's going on. But
you mean like his buddy who just sold all of his steel industry stocks? But
praise great leader.
Did you see that, Randy?
No, I didn't.
It's kind of your world.
See that. I did see the steel. I mean, I'm not going to get into that because I have some what many would probably consider
insider knowledge. Oh,
no, not insider knowledge, but less than desirable opinions on some things about people and places.
I can't. I can imagine.
I'll refrain from commenting on that.
How about,
especially in the market when I work in a place
financial
that
industry
deals with financial industry.
How about you answer this question? And it comes from Skeptical Mario. He sent this last week, but you weren't on. He said, Randy, describe up to 3 changes other than MTX that would ruin Agents of Mayhem 2.
That would ruin it.
That would ruin it. What is MTX? What is he referring to?
Microtransactions.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think if we made the characters even more shallow, that would be a start.
Can they get more shallow?
It'd be tough. But I'm confident that the Volition beer taps could accomplish it. I think Proulx will get that joke.
That's
maybe
good.
not anybody else.
That's good. I haven't even played Agents of Mayhem, but I like that. I like the joke.
I think you could make the city smaller.
Yeah, that would do it.
Make it even smaller. And make the skyscrapers taller with even less lifts.
Yeah. I would also like...
and more collectibles.
I would like load screens when you get into a vehicle.
Yes. Just load up the load screens.
Yeah.
And make the menus even less responsive.
Yeah. I'll take that.
That would also help.
And that you have to go to, like, each store in the arc, you actually have to go through the menu to get to them. Like, that would be great. So if I need to get R&D Rex or I need to get a new car or something, I have to load into those places. Slow walk. So it's a transition. It's not actually a full load, but a slow walk down the hallway.
Yeah. And then make the menus really easy to back out of, so you have to watch the slow walk back, and then do it again to get back in there after you've accidentally hit B. So there's one more that I think
I'm ready.
We should do. I think that you should not teleport to the Ark. I think you should have to drive or walk to a missile launcher and then guide yourself on that missile into the Ark in a mini game every time you want to go there.
That sounds like an odd, and I want it to be more convoluted than the hacking minigame. Like it should be more difficult, right? Because I mean, that's where the gameplay comes in. All of those hacking minigames are so much fun, especially when you're getting shot at.
Yes.
I still have that game on my random to-do list. Nothing showed up this month, but it's one of those things where it's like, if I get any achievement, they're all one-offs now, where it's like, oh, I have to do all the clothes, and it's like I could just load in, play the 2 or 3 missions to get all the clothes that I need, and just then get out. And it's gonna be and then like even getting the collectibles. It's like, oh, go find all the collectibles. I mean, that's a one-off thing. It's like I don't know when I'm ever gonna complete this game. Did you get your connected
contracts?
Yes. Yeah, that's all done.
Yeah,
all I have left
got the
is
worst of it done, then.
Yeah. All I have left is collectibles and the 5 or 6, outfits.
Yeah,
like that's pretty much it for me. And so, like I said, they're all one-offs. So it's like unless they come up on RTDL, I don't know when I'm going to pick that game back up. This was kind of why I want to do Test the Grad now, because I'm going to forget it.
You don't really have much left to do.
No, I don't.
Might as well just sit down and finish it.
But that sounds awful.
Or,
I mean, because that's probably
play an hour a day.
Yeah, it's probably like 6 hours of collectible crap.
The collectibles aren't. How many collectibles do you have?
Oh God, I don't even know. I know the map is still because I got the ping on there. The map is still full of shards. I mean, they're
really not bad. Even if you go from 0, which obviously you're not at 0.
No,
I bet it wouldn't take you more than 4 hours.
That still sounds awful. Well, here this is
got a nice ratio though.
Oh
and
yeah,
and that completion.
Yeah, I would like the completion. Proulx, you can help with this one. I had to actually ask a follow-up question because I was as confused as you likely would be. It comes from Lord Chibello. He says, I recently started playing Destiny on the 360 and am thoroughly enjoying the story. So I had to chime in there and just say, like, hold on, like, wait, which story are you talking about? Because I want to be clear. Because I can't, if it's Taken King, like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a thumbs up for that one. But Rise of Iron and Vanilla, he said he's enjoying it, even though the Grimoire, you can't actually access the Grimoire anymore, which is weird. He has a real question. It says, are there any games you started playing way after the boat sailed on them, and you still really enjoyed them even after everyone else moved on, or despite of controversies? Like exclusive PlayStation content or extremely delayed coming to Xbox. Anything along those lines that you guys can think of?
Well, I mean, I can clarify Lord Chibello's statements here. He was actually having a fever dream, and
that's why it was so good.
No, actually, I don't.
He was actually playing Saints Row, right?
Well, I mean, I would argue Saints Row has a better storyline than Destiny. Well, I don't know. It's interesting because, and I would love to sit down and have a chat with him because I don't understand how you could ever argue that Destiny has a great storyline. But yeah. But hey, I mean, different strokes, different folks. Everybody likes a different thing, and it's fine with me. That's no big deal. I'd love to sit down and talk with him about it.
So let's talk about games that we played way after they were any good. Or
Randy has Turok. We know that now.
I think it's like every game I've ever played.
Is all super old.
Way later, yeah.
Not everything, but a lot of games. I'm just looking at my list now. And
I am too. One that popped up that kind of has been keying in for me is now that I'm kind of getting into oh crap, where'd it go? I was just looking at it. Diablo. Although that's wearing a little thin now because of the grind of it. But, going back and playing Diablo 3, I know the PC version is probably where it's at, and there's so much more there, but that game has been a lot of fun. Playing that, especially, having our group, even though we've been playing for like a year. Oh, it's been long. But I'll throw that on the list. Yeah, just having to go through this thing here and seeing, because all these, they're all old games, but they're also like, I've been saving games because it's like, oh, I bet I'm going to enjoy that, and I want to be able to focus on it. Like, prime example, so with Rocker Dude this month, I don't have anything on my list that starts with W. And so I'm looking at like games that I could play, that start with a W, and I want to play the first Wolfenstein because I've been hearing all this Game of the Year talk on Wolfenstein 2, and I'm thinking, well, I kind of want to play that, but I should probably play the first game and see what the setup is. And now I feel like I've so missed the boat on that.
Which first Wolfenstein are you talking about?
The Machine Games one. The old New Order.
So there's actually a prequel to the New Order.
The Old Blood. Yeah, but you can play.
No, not the Old Blood. And there's a prequel that happened before the Old Blood. It came out in 2008, 2007. It's the one that's just called Wolfenstein, the reboot. That's actually the first one in the storyline.
But that's not Machine Games, though, right?
No, it's the same storyline, but it's not Machine Games.
Okay. No, I want to play the New Order. Wolfenstein: The New Order, and I so missed the boat on that, but I'm gonna try and set some time.
Yeah, you should.
And to be fair, you can get by with playing that first. I actually did play the New Order first, and then went back to the 2007, 2008 one, whichever year it came out.
Yeah.
They are related, but they're loosely. It's
Sure.
a direct sequel, but you can kind of just do without the whole first part.
Right.
If you want to.
So I'll throw that on the list. Another one I haven't played yet, but I want to get into it, but I feel like I missed is Doom. 2016's Doom. It's like, I have that sitting
Very
here,
good.
and it's like, man, I know I'd have so much fun playing that, and Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider reboot. I only played the multiplayer, so I got Shopaholic, and I never went and touched the single-player campaign, and it's like, wow, I could play that, and I want to play Rise of Tomb Raider. So I've been saving all these games that I'll never get around to playing. Like, it's super depressing. But those are all mine. So I guess I'm still missing the boat. Has anything jumped out at you? Do you have any comments?
You know what comes to my mind, Freem?
What's that? Witcher 3. Throw that on my list.
Yeah.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Never played Skyrim.
Oh, Skyrim. Yeah, you're missing the boat if you've missed Skyrim. What comes to my mind is Teslagrad, because, well, maybe not, but there's a lot of things we could talk about Teslagrad.
I'd have to put myself on that one too, because it was totally off my radar, and then I played it and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Why didn't we play this sooner? Mm-hmm. And I didn't even realize it had come out so much sooner even than I thought. So yeah, I have to agree with Teslagrad for sure.
Spec Ops: The Line, the Mass Effect series, throw those on the list.
See, I'm thinking games though that we have actually played.
Oh, here's one.
Not
BioShock.
games that we haven't played, but games that we
BioShock.
Have played.
I completed that game last year. That was great. That was super fun, and I am wonderfully happy that no one spoiled the ending for me. So, BioShock. There's my answer. Wow, I feel good about that now. Perfect. All right. Any other comments? That was that's about it for our feedback. We just got a couple things here. We got some knobs and discos, but Randy got a PSA here on getting my controller to work.
Yeah. So Targan messaged me the other day, and he told me that he was reading something about Xbox One controller is disconnecting. So if you guys remember when I was all rainy about having my old box before I got a new one, I could never connect a controller to it wirelessly. It would always disconnect, like almost as if there was some kind of interference, but couldn't figure out what it was ever. And apparently some external hard drives, or the cables connecting the external hard drives to the console, can potentially cause enough interference to cause controllers to disconnect. So this doesn't apply to me in my case for the external drive, but there were also a bunch of other wires around my box. So if you do still have an original Xbox One and you have the same issue I do, and you have a hard drive plugged in, maybe give it a shot without the hard drive and see if it works.
It's a great idea.
Continue to wire it in like I did forever.
There's that as well.
Which can be a bit of a pain.
Right.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there because it wasn't an uncommon issue. It wasn't a super common issue.
Yeah,
but it definitely was not uncommon. And something we talked about before.
Absolutely. You know what we haven't talked about in a long while, but I know they've been there. Do we have any knobs and discos? Our home for unobtainable and discontinued achievements.
I think we actually covered all of the knobs and discos this week.
Even those messages I just got on TA, like the server closure for Dragon's Dogma coming up at the end of the month of March.
There's no knobs and discos in that one, actually. It's just
it's going to be harder.
Server closure.
Yeah.
All the achievements are still going to be obtainable.
Just more difficult.
So, I guess we can touch on that. The co-op elements will be gone. Is what I understood from that.
Yeah.
But all the achievements are still obtainable.
Are you sad about Earthworm Jim?
Yes. What's up with that? It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Gameloft doesn't own the rights, so the licensing deal must have ended.
It's all gone.
I don't know. Maybe Earthworm Jim HD delisted. Maybe somebody finally bought the Interplay catalog.
Ooh, interesting.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. I imagine the contract probably just ended. But we'll see.
Hey, I felt like we talked about this before.
One more.
Yeah,
one
what's
more
up?
that I did miss. Monster Hunter Frontier G is going to be closing on the 1st of August 2018. So that is an online-only game that can only be played from a Japanese IP address.
Oh, jeez.
But the thing that makes it significant is it has the most Gamerscore of any game on the Xbox 360, coming in at 4,550 Gamerscore.
Wow.
And it has been the highest Gamerscore game on the 360 forever, as far as I know, since it came out. It has 16 DLC packs.
Whoa!
But that aren't really DLC. It's an MMO, so
okay. Oh, sure.
They're not really DLC
so like
packs.
Expansions or content updates or what?
Yeah, and it came out in 2010, so it's been around a long time.
Interesting.
So I don't think this is going to apply to anybody, but just kind of this is something interesting and kind of note, because this is a kind of an iconic is the wrong word, but just interesting game, because it's always kind of been like an Xbox One game is now, where it was always growing and changing and getting more achievements and getting more content. And now it's closing in August. I don't think anybody will be able to play it. If you were able to sign up through a VPN, I think the game would be so slow it would be unplayable. But if you really want to go for it, I imagine you probably still can.
Take a trip to Japan.
Yeah, take a virtual trip to Japan. I have no idea how hard the completion is, how time consuming it is. So
hey,
you're interested in, good luck, but I don't think it's too realistic.
I know we talked about this, but I don't remember. With Earthlock coming out with that updated release, like if we had that with Games with Gold but never unlocked any achievements in it, we still have access to that old version, right? It's not going to get overwritten.
The unlocking achievements wouldn't make a difference. I'm not totally sure what's going on with this, but apparently some people were saying that it was gone, some people aren't. So the games with gold version might be gone, but if you had purchased it for money, it definitely will not be gone. The thing with games with gold on Xbox One is they're different than they are on 360.
Yeah.
You don't own them.
Right.
Like you do on 360. You own... I mean, you less own them than you do and not owning them on 360. It's like a licensing agreement. So if you lose gold, your games with gold on Xbox One are gone. Where on 360 it's on the older system, so it's still a free purchase. Or on Xbox One, it's a license. It's kind of well hidden because it doesn't show you that you can still buy it. So it's kind of weird. So because of that, I think if you got it with games with gold, it might be gone. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not even totally sure what's going on with the change. So maybe dig around on some threads on TA or something, or we can do an update on this because I'm not super familiar. I'm just basing that on a couple of comments I saw very briefly and just the way licensing works on Xbox One.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
See what happens. Cross your fingers. Wonderful. Well, that pretty much... Oh, I do have a piece of zombie news here. Real quick. It was... I found this... It was through Extra Life. Apparently there's this game streaming out there that, in theory, I thought it said it was coming to Xbox at some point, but it's a reveal trailer. Oh, no, it's just a PC thing. It's called Double Kick Heroes. And the way this works, this might be right up your alley here, Randy. It's a rhythm game, and you have a note highway that goes on the bottom there, and what you're doing is you are a punk rock band. Is it punk or like normal grindhouse rock? Anyway, you are driving in a car, and the note highway at the bottom, every time you hit the notes, it fires your gun back at this ever-present horde of, zombies, mutants, whatever, shark monsters, crazies. There's 30 songs, and essentially you're just hitting these note streaks to be blasting critters, and of which zombies are included, while you rip through these desolate post-apocalyptic wastelands. This is perfect for you, Randy. You love rhythm games like this.
It sounds like something I'd play.
Absolutely. Anyway, so yes, that's. I hope it comes to Xbox, but I don't know how the rhythm piece works.
Does it just use a controller, or does it need an instrument? I
don't think it's an instrument. This came out of a game jam, but so I'm wondering if it's like inputs on like the note highway's got X's, circles, and squares, so maybe that's kind of indicative of PlayStation.
I mean, that'd be PlayStation, but I mean that's just as easily. I wouldn't be surprised if it uses a controller, because a lot of those smaller rhythm games are just played on a controller. Even if there is a highway or kind of like. Because the one that I'm thinking of is Kickbeat it's on Xbox,
right?
And that didn't have a note highway in the normal sense, but it had like people that would come up and try and punch you or whatever, but they were the notes. So,
so for my random to-do list this month, I have to do Air Guitar Warrior for Connect. And I got the achievement for killing 1,000 guys with the Legend guitar. Well, I also got the same achievement on Air Guitar Warrior Gamepad Edition. So I have to literally do the same thing twice.
That's a little
Ooh,
weird.
nice.
Yeah. So super interesting how that works out. But anyway, I think that's it, guys. Do you have anything else you want to contribute? Anything else that you need to get off your chest here before we sign off?
Yeah, I have one thing, if we can fit it in here.
Yeah, what's up?
I actually hit my 2-year anniversary of hitting a game streak here, so I just wanted to everybody. I know it's kind of.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, so I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to bring that up.
It's too bad. It's too bad that you couldn't have used L.A. Noire. for that because it's not on Xbox
To be
One.
fair, now I did use Horse Puncher in order to achieve this achievement, so it seems pretty appropriate. So.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for this
But
episode. Oh.
You should have been punching horses in space.
Yes. Well,
Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been super fun. It's great to get everybody back together. As you can tell, Randy and I, we like each other this week. Next week, we'll see.
Not so much.
Not so much.
We're feuding again.
Back at odds.
Behind the scenes, we had a big fight. Calling it off. We're shutting the show down.
But before we
now
do that,
have a very large stack of Jazz Cup socks. We can no longer afford to run the show. This is the last episode. You better download it quick before the end of the month because we can't afford to pay hosting fees anymore.
There you go. And then if you like that episode, you should review it for us. That's a great free way to. And you know what? We do need more Jazz Cup socks. So if you want to be a patron, that would be awesome. That would be super helpful.
It'll definitely go toward the show, not buying Jazz Cup socks.
Well, now you need Jazz Cup slacks to go with your Jazz Cups.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that can be arranged.
Our website, ZZ.com. You can find show notes stuff that get a hold of us. Twitter, at ZZZEDTOZED. Forums, forum.ZZ.com. Or, of course, Discord, discord.io/ZZ. If you're looking for me personally, I'm Freamhole everywhere, FREAMWHOLE. All the social medias, Twitter, True Achievements, all the things that are important, Xbox Live. Proulx, what about you? Where can we track you down?
People can find me, of course, on Xbox Live or on TA at Proulx.
Proulx.
You can look that up on the show notes if you want to know how to spell it. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at OneUpDan. That is the number one, not the word.
Delightful. Randy?
Find me on True Achievements, Crandy, or Twitter at Randy2727.
Fantastic. And what you will not find in the show notes are any comments about the rest of the segments. We absolutely will not mention anything about them, but you should listen to them because they're coming up next. We'll see you guys later. And so on behalf of Randy and Proulx, I've been Brandon, and to all of you achievement hunters and Gamerscore junkies out there, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next episode.
Thanks for listening. Catch you on Reviews Ed in a minute.
Bye.
Here we go with another community roundup. We're going to start, as always, with the GTASC 2018, the Great True Achievement Score Challenge. We just wrapped up Period 7 at the end of February, and our teams, again, for the, fourth week? The top Zeds: Eat, Sleep, Complete, Repeat. Smirnov and Redemption, 8th place overall. They are killing it. The near miss, well, that goes to Koosh, Moose, and CS Geek Squad. That is the team of Moose and Squad. They were 9 places over elimination, a mere 49 TA from being eliminated. And then we did lose a couple of people. We had Tropan Zero Knowledge. That was the team of Tropan and Officer Zero, and the Tryhards, which features Avenged Against. So those are the teams in the GTASC that we ended up losing. As far as the individuals go, well, our top Zed was Smirnov. Once again, he holds the spot for the 4th week. He was 15th overall. And our near miss goes to Salzbar. That is his 2nd time being toward the bottom. As far as eliminations, well, there were 7. We had Pickle Squid, Gambler 6464, Christam DS, New York Giants 4 SBS, Kunzite 508, Avenged Against, and Ella Follette 77. So those guys are eliminated. That's it for GTASC. We're coming up, 8 weeks in, but that is not even a dent. There is still plenty of that contest left to go. Still surviving, doing my best. Also, chipping away at the random to-do lists. February is now over, and then and we had 90 people who unlocked 560 achievements. So we will come up with winners for that next week. But the March lists are out, and so if you haven't checked out your list just yet, we are halfway through the global contest, for funsies. And then, if you don't have a list, well, let us know. Go to our forums, forum.z2z.com. You can request a list at any time. Totally free to enter. Every achievement you unlock, it gets you a raffle and a chance to win a gift card and get some money coming your way. And those prizes, our amazing patrons out there have done so much that I think it's time we start talking about bumping these prizes up because we got to look at our bills. But there was some talk about getting those new stretch goals or something. But yeah, we're doing fantastic because of our amazing listeners. You people do so much for us. So I'm really excited about what the future is going to hold here. So random to-do list, one of our best contests, most fun. I enjoy it thoroughly. The other contest one of the other contests we have right now is the Community Challenge, and that is a monthly challenge. Of course, February, the shortest month of the year, just wrapped up. By the time this comes out, you have mere hours to enter anything that you unlocked before I close out. That we're looking for games that have 12 or fewer achievements. So if you unlocked any achievement in one of those games, then that counts as a raffle drawing. And if you get a completion, then you get a bonus 5 entries. So follow suit. Look at the forums, forum.z2z.com, and you'll see how to post and how that works. Let us know so you can get in on that. Well, March is for the spin-offs. And what the spin-offs are games that are not part of the mainline series. And so if you go to the forums, you will see a ton of people posting and questions. I have an acceptable games list started, and I continue to add to it constantly because people come up with some really great suggestions, and it's like, yes, that totally counts. So I think last show I said like Gears of War Judgment, Halo ODST, Halo Reach. I've added, like Assassin's Creed Chronicles. I consider all 3 of those Chronicles games spin-offs. Tales from the Borderlands is a spin-off. Walking Dead Michonne, spin-off. Forza Presents The Fast and the Furious, spin-off. NBA 2K17 The Prelude, I consider a spin-off. So those all count, right? That's great. What is not a spin-off, like Halo Master Chief? Nope. Any Forza Horizons or Forza Motorsports? I consider those both mainline series, so they don't count. And Assassin's Creed, whatever what you want to say, Brotherhood, Revelations, all the Rogue, I do not consider those spin-offs. Even though they're not part of the numbered series, that is the yearly Assassin's Creed that comes out. It's not weird enough. You maybe could twist my arm on Liberation, but I think since that got re-released, I'm gonna have to say no. That one doesn't count. Anyway, that's the community event for the month of March. It is called Spin-Offs. Any achievement you get in any of those games totally counts. The final one that we have going on, well, it is the Gamertag Challenge, and this could not be simpler. Again, just post in the forums. For February, we have Crandy and Spazpole. That's 2 different entries. You can get up to 10 entries for those gamer tags each. And this month for March, we only have one. It is Rocker Dude 5012. So that is 10 letters, 4 numbers. Very simple. All you have to do is unlock an achievement in a game that begins with that letter. For instance, R could be Rocket League. It could be Refunked. A could be Assassin's Creed, whatever. K could be Connect Sports. Just a single achievement in any of those. There is, it looks like the U and the E's can be substituted because those are a little more rare in terms of game selections. So you can sub in any game for those, but you do get less entries into the pool. And then as far as the numbers go, well, any number in a game counts. So I use the example of NBA 2K17. Well, 2K17 could count for the 5, even though there's no 5 in there. That's totally fine. The Game of the Month. We finished up the Teslagrad Game of the Month for February. Well, we are just getting started with March. You can check out our streams at youtube.com/Z2Z. There's a special playlist on there for all of the Game of the Month coverage. And if you have your own videos, like if you stream and get it to us. We'll upload it, put it part of the playlist. It'll be the entire Z to Z community on our YouTube, and we can watch people struggle through Manual Samuel. That is a suggestion from Chin Doctor on that one. You can watch my stream of that game on Sunday nights. I do Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Central. That's Fream Standard Time right there. And you can watch me, bumble my way through. We'll see what happens this Sunday, how frustrated I get, how much I can chip away. I'm good for at least, a good 90 minutes probably. So between 10 and 10:30, I get on and get streaming, and boy, we just have some fun. And if you don't see it then, you can always check out our on-demand videos after that evening, and like I said, it'll be on our YouTube channel, and you can catch it there. For April, well, we're going to do Sea of Thieves. Of course, Sea of Thieves is launching in March, and so starting in April then, as a community, we're going to go after that. One of my suggestions is Games Pass. If you haven't used your trial, that'd be great for that. If you are a current Games Pass member, awesome. I plan to get my I actually won a Games Pass subscription through the TA stream, so that's pretty cool. I'll be able to do that. And if you don't, let me know, because maybe we can figure something out. But I'm really excited to get people involved in Sea of Thieves. I'd love to get a galleon full of Z to Zers out there, looting and sailing. It will be awesome. I can't wait. And finally, our Patreon. I mentioned you guys earlier, our patrons are amazing. We are above our threshold. We are getting more than enough to cover everything we need to do for the show. It is wonderful. And so now we have to take a look at what we're accumulating and find ways to give back. One of the ways that we are is full game edition. We are able to give away games for each month, a full game to one lucky patron. You get more entries with the higher dollar amounts that you provide, which is just a way that we try and thank you for all your generosity. We cannot do enough for you, because you're what makes this show happen. So the other thing too is on Discord, you get a nice gold name, so everyone knows that you are of the elite at the official Z to Z Discord. You can get their open link all the time. You can find it at discord.io/Z to Z. And if you do go there, you will find a portal to all of our boosting sessions. We have a bunch of people. There's a generic LFG where people are asking, especially from the beginning of the month with RTDL help. But we also have plenty of game channels people looking for. The Borderlands game channel just picked up a lot of steam in the month of March. I believe there's a few people getting ready to run through Borderlands 1. I think there's some people looking for Borderlands 2, so that's seen some activity. We are currently doing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare on the Xbox One Thursday nights. Big shout out to Kung Fu Skills, who jumped in for the first time with us on Thursday night. That was awesome. We had Mikal KV was looking to get in. Unfortunately, we didn't meet up and I feel bad because it's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. for him since he's out in Europe. But hopefully next week we can get that to work out. We're just chipping away and hopefully get that completion relatively soon. A lot of people wrapping that thing up. I think there's a good chunk of people only need the garden ops stuff. I'm not one of those. I need gardens and graveyards. I need killing things. So there's plenty for me to do. We're also running through Halo Master Chief. If you guys are interested, that is available to be played, as well as Battleborn on Wednesdays. We're doing that, really focusing on those difficult multiplayer ones, things that just make more sense to do with others. So with that, that's it for the contest roundup and what's going on in the community. Thank you so much for listening to this, for listening to the rest of the show. We really appreciate it. And I guess I'll catch you guys on the forums, in the chat, or next week. We'll see ya.
Z to Z Podcast presents Review Z.
All right, who's introing? Am I introing?
Sure, if you'd like to, you can be like the special guest intro.
Hey, I'm a special guest, not guest, back on this week's Review Zed. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm back for the first time in a long time. Damien couldn't make it this week, so I'm here with Warren.
Wasabi.
And so we're playing a game. I I had already signed up for Reviews Ed this week, and then I was informed that it was actually already scheduled to be a game that I really want to play. So that was a nice little bonus. So this week, we're covering Turok on the Xbox One, which, yes, that is the Turok from Nintendo 64 back in the 90s, which I never played. I never played that Turok, so keep that in mind. I believe Warren had played it.
Back in the day, yes. The old school 64 version.
So I'm coming. This is my first experience ever with Turok. I actually contemplated picking it up on PC a couple of times, but I knew it was coming out on Xbox, so I waited. So this is developed and published by Night Dive Studios. Sort of developed by Iguana that no longer exists. I mean, that was the original developer. Now it's owned by Night Dive that did the cleanup and the remaster.
Sort of developed by Acclaim. They left the logo in.
I think Acclaim was the publisher and Iguana was the developer. But yes, I did like that. I like that they left the original people in the game. So it's a remaster done by Night Dive. And it's pretty... Oh, and price $19.99 or regional equivalent on the Xbox Live Store, digital only, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd say it's held up pretty well, I would say.
They definitely made this look better than it was back in the day, and it was enjoyable to play. So yes, I would definitely say it's held up. It still is relevant in our day of gaming.
Yeah, and they're not... See, I was thinking when I was playing this too, is like more games should be like this. Because pretty much the game is run fast, shoot dinosaurs and aliens, collect keys. It's the whole game. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Sums it up well.
Yep. It's got that kind of... It's not... I mean, I wouldn't call it an arena shooter like a Quake or something, but it's got that same kind of feel like a Quake or a Doom.
It's
where, you just run really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Just ridiculously fast all the time. And you've got lots of guns. You don't have to reload. You just shoot dinosaurs, shoot aliens, shoot a tribe people. I don't know what the other people are. The people with the guns. They're like tribe aliens, and like it's hard to tell with the N64 era models. They kind of just... It's a big green thing. It's probably an alien. I don't know.
It doesn't really matter. They're shooting at you, therefore they must be shot.
Exactly. As all games of that era kind of are.
I do love the fact that they left the old school cheats in there. They do disable the achievements, mind you, but if you still want to have fun with the game back in the day, like you used to, clipping through walls or being able to see where everything is, practice your speed running, practice at playing the game, I suppose, before making a good quick run at it with all the toys on. There's still the ability.
What's a cheat?
Cheat?
What's a cheat? I don't know what that is. It's been so long.
It's those codes you used to type in to make it so you could do special things.
Oh, like microtransactions.
No, but these are free. You don't pay for them. They obviously overlooked this part of the game.
Clearly, I mean, there's a wasted business opportunity there. Yes, it has cheats, which is an extra bonus. And it's a fun... I mean, there's not really much to say about the game. I mean, I guess we could talk about Turok and we can talk about the quality of the remaster, because I guess it depends on what you're thinking. It's, as far as I can tell, pretty much totally faithful to the original. I was reading a bit. There was, I think, one of the secret areas was cut from the game, and then it was put back into the game in the remaster, which is it's nice that they did that, but not something that most people are probably ever really going to notice. The graphics are, I mean, I want to say tremendously improved. They still look like N64 graphics, but much better. Like, the lighting is dramatically improved. The draw distance is probably the biggest thing. It's like you can see 2 or 3 times as far in the distance as you could on the original version, which I would say probably would make for a better gameplay experience. I don't know. What do you think? Because I didn't play the original.
The original was, I would say, hampered by the draw distance because, like you were saying, you would be wandering around, and next thing you know, you're being shot at and or jumped or whatever because you had no idea there was dinosaurs literally 3 steps ahead of you because the draw distance was so pitiful. Nowadays, I mean, you can see things so far away in the distance. It's like, oh, okay, I need to start shooting now so I can start hitting him. Okay, you can bob and weave around the bullets. That was never a possibility before this, at least not when I remember playing the game.
And you also don't have to move with the C buttons, which is a bonus from what I understand.
Not needing that controller is a blessing in and of itself.
Yeah, so it does have modern controls, which is good. You can look around like a normal shooter. It does have the old school like weapon wheel, like not the one like Saints Row where you hold a button and pick your weapon. It's like you have to scroll through your weapons. Unless I'm missing something on that.
Not that I noticed. It seemed like one just kind of went forward through, the other went backward through the list.
Yeah. So that's, I mean,
that
feels
what it
dated.
Is.
Yeah, but really overall, I mean, you go through the levels. I think there's 8 levels. You shoot the dinosaurs, shoot the aliens, jump over. The platforming is terrible, but that's always been the case.
Yeah, definitely don't look down looking at like what you expect to be your feet, thinking that that's actually stable ground because often it is not.
It is not. And like there's a couple spots where you have to jump on a tiny little platform, and it's like, how am I ever gonna make this jump? Because like you look at it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna make it this time. Then you're way off. The next time, you're like, okay, gotta do a little more. Then you like way overshoot it. Yes, because you can't see your feet. That's the problem. You don't know where your feet are, so it makes the platforming difficult. Fortunately, there's not that much platforming, and it's not really that much of an issue most of the time. But I mean, that's a criticism of the game, not the port, I suppose, or the remake, I suppose. Other than that, it's fun. It's like old games of that era. It's just dumb fun. You just run around, you shoot stuff, you go really fast. Nothing's realistic. You can hold your breath for like 5 minutes.
I would call it kind of like a twitchy shooter too, just because of how much it's more about reactions than it is anything else. Because
and you don't have to aim.
It's not like you can really. I mean,
you don't need to.
You don't really need to, exactly. So it's just more like point direction, squeeze off a couple rounds. Yep. Okay. Cool. Next target.
See, I was actually fighting one of the big green aliens just tonight, and I was going for headshots, and I was actually missing. I was hitting his head, but the shots were missing because I don't know. I guess they just assumed nobody was going to shoot him in the head. Although headshots do register on regular enemies, they do a different death animation when you get a headshot. So, I mean, at least I assume that's what that death animation is.
Maybe that's a special anime that just doesn't have brains in his head.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'd say it's pretty gory for the time, not so much for these days.
There is a level difficulty that you can choose from the options menu. You can crank it down to easy, which does not affect achievements if you want.
That's true. And the achievements aren't too bad. Pretty much you just do 100% run. There's a couple of great guides out there that aren't. It's a good one. Not the collectibles. The secret areas has a really good video guide that isn't one of those video guides that is like 3.5 hours long. It's like 15 minutes, and it just kind of shows you immediately before or any kind of necessary steps to find the secret area, and then the secret area itself, and then moves on to the next one. So that's been really easy to follow. Other than that, it's pretty much just beat the game, get all the pieces for the secret weapon, and then there's a speedrun achievement. I'm not really sure how hard that's going to be yet, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. You got to beat the whole game in under 2 hours 45 minutes, it looks like, and I don't think that's going to be too difficult.
Yeah, I would totally save that for the end. Make sure you've done your assembling the weapon. You don't want to try to do anything extraneous. It looks like that's pretty much just a no holds barred start stop, get to from the beginning to the end kind of thing.
And most of my time has been spent just kind of exploring. Yeah, and this is like kind of games of that time. There's a lot of collectibles, a lot of not necessarily collectibles, but things like you just explore around, find more ammo, find find some better guns earlier and things like that. Lots of kind of running around and exploring in corners. So on my first playthrough, I've been spending a lot of my time doing that. Where with the speedrun, I mean, you can just plow through the levels. You don't have to kill everything. A lot of the enemies respawn too. So, and especially on easy, I don't think it'll be bad at all.
Nah.
Then there's a couple other miscellaneous ones that are not bad. So yeah, not too out of a completion, and it's must say it has definitely held up over the years because I'm having more fun playing this than most games I've played in the last year.
The only thing I can see kind of being a downside for people is it is a $20 game, and it is pretty much a port of a 90s title. So
yeah,
if you're cool with that, then definitely pick it up. I mean, other than the fact it is a short game, but if you're big for the nostalgia factor, if you love Turok from back in the day, then $20 is definitely not, in my opinion, too much to pay for this.
No, I don't think so either. Especially with all the improvements that have been made, I think you would easily get $20 worth out of this game. I mean, there's a bit more to it too, because Turok went through kind of fell into that legal limbo where nobody really had rights to it for a long time, and then it finally got acquired and pulled out of there. So, I mean, while there was no development, I mean, there was development, but like you didn't build a whole game from scratch. There's kind of more to the release on Xbox than just, oh, we own Turok, let's port it to Xbox. But yeah, I mean, I think $20 is fair. If it was ever on sale, even like 30% off, no question, it's absolutely worth it. I mean, how long do you think a run would take? Like 10 hours for the first time?
Start to finish? Yeah, something like that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at, I think. If you explore and kind of do everything, and then obviously you can go a lot faster than that, but yeah, I think it's a fair price. So anything else to add at the end, or does that about do it for this week?
No, that should about cover this.
And my understanding is we also got Turok 2, is that right?
That sounds like it could maybe be in next week if we can squeeze it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And probably not me, but maybe you and Damien. I don't think I'm gonna have time to play Turok 2 this week, but we'll see. Maybe Turok 2 coming soon. All right, now on to whatever comes next. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
What the L with the RTDL?
Hey everybody, it's time for What the L with the RTDL. I am Big L.
And I am Elroy.
Hey, Elroy. I'm in a good mood tonight, Elroy.
Oh yeah? It's Sunday night. It's not a normal night to record.
I know. We're going to be even more behind.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, no one listens to this anyway. But if anybody does, I just wanted to give a shout out to Kushmoosh on his excellent Tesla grad discussion last week. The amount of time you dedicated to it made me Tesla glad. For those who missed it, the protagonist is a Tesla lad. He didn't have a name. We'll call him Tesla Brad. He sets out to find his Tesla dad. Throughout the game, our heroic Tesla nomad finds Tesla doodads to aid him in his quest. However, there are some parts of the game that made me Tesla mad. From the very beginning, Tesla Chad is running away from Tesla comrades who are dressed in Tesla plaid, who are also trying to kick him in his Tesla gonads. Ooh. Ouch. Also, I wanted to shout Tesla egad at some of the bosses who were seemingly Tesla ironclad. When he finds his father at the end, I was Tesla sad. Hopefully the game of the month won't just be a Tesla fad, and I look forward to a fun month of Manuel Samuel.
All those puns, they were Tesla bad. Although, the more I played the game, I thought, it was pretty Tesla rad. Just a Tesla tad. Who am I kidding? It was the best gaming Tesla had all week. I guess this has just been one big old Tesla ad for the game. But then again, what else was there to do in February? Watch the Tesla Winter Olympiad.
Nice one.
Thank you. So, yeah, got any exciting gaming done this week?
Nope.
Yep, me neither. Okay, RTDL update time. All right. Month 3 of the trimester is underway, and the bulk of the participants are just starting their voyage with the SSRTDL. This is some serious ship, though, and many lists are likely to not be completed. Regardless, as in every month, there are some RTDLers out to their fast starts and who have seemingly caught some big kahuna burgeritis. You could say everyone else needs to catch up.
Oh, Elroy, I really relish these puns.
Well, not every podcast segment has mustered the courage to use them. They are scared yellow.
Let us continue.
Yes, the RTDL is a big deal.
A lot of RTDLers kill themselves trying to get that full combo. I saw that only 3 people got one last month and are still in the hunt of the Ultra.
What's the matter with you? I was going to get to that in a second.
Oh, no need to now.
Nope. In Kahuna's absence, it is like a big tree in the forest has been sold for lumber.
Lumber? Didn't even know her.
And all the underbrush has flourished and it is rising up to fill the void that is left in its absence. It's time for RTDL update. Where's Kahuna and who are all these people edition? And the honorable mention spot is...
Oh, I know who it is. Is it Proulx?
That's an excellent guess, but no, it isn't him. Edging out the honorable mention of Discord voice call fan Wiseniat by a mere 17 points is Elroy. Love that guy. Elroy has gotten the bulk of his points from killing a lot of zombies. Half of his pops come from Dead Island, Dead Rising 2, and Daylight, Director's Cut. And half of the other half come from SAF members Luis and Nacho. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Elroy.
Uh-huh.
What do you call achievements that aren't yours? Nacho achievements.
In 5th place is the one who is not easily convinced. It's the skeptical Mario.
It's a me, Mario. This sound is the property of the What the Hell podcast. You may use the sound and the contents contained in the sound solely for your own individual, non-commercial, and informational purposes only. Any other use, including for any commercial purposes, is strictly prohibited without our express prior written consent.
Who has a lot of synergy going on in his list. Here he sits in the 5 spot with just his 5 achievements. One of those 5 achievements is called Went 5 Rounds from Broderlands 2.
Yay, a bro joke. I missed those. Not the prequel, sequel, requel, nyquil?
So, dismiss your doubts and reservations. The 5 spot is your skeptical one. Even though, by the time you hear it, it will probably not be yours. So, yeah, keep being suspicious. In 4th place is Mark B. According to the Book of Mark, as RTDL Bot passes along the Sea of Galilee, he saw Mark B and his brother, Mark B. Hoy, 89, casting a net into the Xbox One, for they were achievement hunters. And RTDL Bot said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for random achievements." And immediately they left their Xboxes and followed him. Later that night, however, Mark B popped his RTDL achievement of Chaos Emerald in Sonic and Knuckles, and it was then he knew he had found the way.
Oh, man.
In 3rd place is Elephant 77.
Elephant? Are you scared to say elephant after the Enigma Gamer situation last week?
Yep.
Okay.
So, Elephant 77 is in 3rd with a smattering of achievements, including one from Forza Horizon 3 of Screaming Through the Valley.
Yes. Though RTDL Bot walks through the valley of the shadow of death, he will fear no list. For thou art with me, RTDL Bot, thy infectious laugh and thy RTDL notifications, they comfort me.
Speaking of which, did you see the news story out of Bangladesh this week? It was about that elephant that tore through a refugee camp full of Rohingya people who had fled the conflict in Myanmar.
What country is that? What happened?
one child was killed and dozens of people were injured as the elephant trampled them to death.
Oh, I see where this is going. Much like Proulx's improvement joke got trampled 10 weeks ago on our pre-show.
What a tragedy.
It really was. He perfectly executed it, and it was hardly even able to be heard. Oh well. Next time.
In second place, with 3/5 of his list complete, with his list that draws from the ever deep pool of 1,017 achievements.
What a low-down curating snake in the grass. He is a pain in my asp.
As you might suspect, his list features many repeat games, including Letters Quest, Rhyme, Turn On,
Boing.
and Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. The latter game, Kingsman, was able to pop the achievement of Holy Water. L, have you ever seen the process that goes into making holy water?
No, Elroy. What makes it so special?
Well, you see, they take regular water, and then they make it really, really hot until they boil the hell out of it.
Moving on.
In first place is the musty wonder himself, the Werther's eating, Price is Right watching, blood pressure checking and checking it often, there's no reason not to, superstar, what the fuck, who leads everyone by almost 1,500 points, with the exception of the Master Chief Collection that appears on his list 5 times. His list is somewhat varied. Fug must have purchased a lot of games during one of those countless sales that continue the devaluation of games.
Oh, yeah, they should talk about that on the podcast more often, and food and candy and, I don't know, more food?
Yeah. However, Fug does have one achievement that rises to the top. His Sunset Overdrive achievement of That Balloon. Unlike the prices of games, the prices of balloons have been constantly going up. Experts say it's due to inflation. And that is your RTDL update. Where is Kahuna and who are all these people edition?
Bye, everybody.
All right.